ready to kick things off. Sam Zachary from the North Newton Spartans boys basketball team. I'm Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, and Scotty Miller running things behind the scenes there. Arnie's Pizza here in Rensselaer, right across from St. Joseph's College. We're here every Wednesday, except next week and the week after that. We won't be
Couple
here.
weeks it'll be dark, as they say in Las
That's right.
Vegas.
So anyway, we got to catch up with the coaches on been a pretty good week since we saw you last, Sam Zachary, for the North Newton Spartan boys team, right?
Yeah, we were able to come away with 2 wins on Friday and Saturday.
Tell us about each one of the games. Go to the Friday game first.
Friday we hosted Highland. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but we came out. We played well. We were able to get up to, I want to say it was 2 10-point leads at different times. We were moving the ball well. We were playing defense well. Unfortunately for us, we decided to blow those 2 10-point leads. And I actually walked into the locker room after the game and told the kids it's a good thing I take blood pressure medicine or I may have had a heart attack at the end of that one. But we were able to pull away with a 49-48 victory against Highland.
Take us through the final seconds there, or final minute or so.
Well, yeah, I told you we led for most of the game, but with about 3 minutes to go, Highland ended up taking the lead. And then it became I don't even know how I would describe the last 3 minutes. Highland had a lot of turnovers. We had a lot of missed layups and free throws. I think I told you guys there was maybe 3 possessions where we went down and missed a layup. They came down, turned it over. We went down, missed a layup. They came down, turned it over. And then Andrew Kolovis hit a big runner in the lane to give us a lead. And then the last 14 seconds, I know we missed 4 free throws, and they turned it over twice. So a win's a win. We'll take it, but we've got to get better finishing ball games.
Sure.
Who played well for you?
Friday night was a big night for Evan Gagnon. He finished with 26 points and 19 rebounds for us. Along with that, Andrew Kolovis did a nice job driving to the basket. Obviously, he hit that runner at the end. I believe he scored our first basket, just attacking the rim and finishing. Defensively, Levi Church, Patrick Berry, Connor Scatella are playing well. They're really playing a role to the best of their ability. They're doing what I'm asking them to do. And then Mike Levy, he's struggling right now to finish shots, but he's doing a great job of defending and getting big rebounds for us.
All right. Then the next night?
Saturday night we went over to DeMott Christian. That was a team. It was kind of weird. It's somebody that we had already seen earlier this year because of the Jamboree setup that the Midwest Conference has gone to. So I knew a little bit about them. Our kids had seen them a little bit in live action, but it ended up being a really good game. We were down at the end of the first quarter by 3. We were struggling a little bit to find good shot opportunities, but I believe we outscored them 18-4 in the second quarter, and were able to go in at half with an 11-point lead. We came out at the third quarter, we had a 9-point lead, but again, like we did Friday night, we let them get back into it. I think they started the fourth quarter on a 6-0 run or 7-0 run and cut it to 2. I can't remember if it was 2 or 4, but they cut the lead. We had to take a couple timeouts. We had to regroup, and then it became a battle. Both nights we really struggled from the line. I think Friday we were 10 of 21. Saturday we were 11 of 25, but just like we did on Friday night, we found a way to pull it out. Both nights our defense was very, very good. One thing that really stuck out in my mind, they ran a set that was a backdoor play, and I had told the kids before we left, if this happens, this is what they're doing. Connor Scatella played it perfectly for a steal. Gagnon, again, had 23 points and 14 rebounds. He was better from the line. Levi Church had 9 points for us. He he was good from the line. He was actually who we were trying to get the ball to at the end to sink some free throws. Scatella, I think, was 2 for 4 from the line. Colovis did a good job of driving to the basket again. Just an all-around team win. Great defense, and we were able to pull out 2, I want to say, kind of tough victories on the weekend.
How do they defend Gagnon in those games? Do they, try to take him away at all, or?
DeMott Christian came out with, I don't really know what they were trying to do to us defensively, but it looked like they were trying to play a box and one on him for a couple possessions, but they didn't really stick with it, and they didn't really do a lot to kind of deny him the ball. Highland didn't do anything to try to take him away. Really, a lot of his points both nights came from rebound putbacks. He does a nice job of using his size and his athleticism to get rebounds and immediately put them back up. So, when I'm talking about 26 points and 19 rebounds, a lot of those went together. And, some of them are he misses a shot, gets his own rebound, puts it back up, and it's Moses Malone stats where I think some of them he's purposely missing so he can get the rebound to put it right back up. But we haven't really seen anything that tries to take him away. I'm comfortable enough that if teams do try to take him away, we have enough skill on the other guys that they'll pick up the slack. Levy, up until Friday and Saturday, he was scoring 15, 16, 17 a game. Scatella's been able to knock down shots from outside. Levi's done a really nice job of getting to the basket. We're still working on attacking under control and finishing, but we've got enough around Gagnon that I don't think we're one-dimensional, and I think all of our kids have pieces that really contribute to our offense.
When you go in a gym like DeMont Christian's, that take you a little while to adjust to that, your kids, because, man, compared to your place, it's like a carnivorous barn. You got seats all over the place. And that place is, 5 rows, 6 rows, and that's it.
It is much different than any other gym we play in outside of maybe Faith Christian. It didn't seem to take our kids long to get used to it, but that could also be, this is my 4th year there, and we've played there 3 years. Mm-hmm. So most of my kids are pretty comfortable playing in those places because they've played there before.
Sure.
But it is different. It is unique.
It's a nice gym.
It is a very nice gym. They just redid the floor. One of the things, though, with that is I feel like it gets louder than the bigger gyms because it's a smaller area and everything is packed in. So it's a lot more difficult to kind of get attention and make corrections and those types of things. But for the most part, I don't really think it affects us.
Are you worried, concerned about your free throw shooting, or do you think it'll get better? Or what are your thoughts on that?
It can't get much worse. We're trying some different ways this week of fixing it. One thing I started doing, I used to just kind of set them loose for about a 10-minute period and have them shoot 25 free throws. Now what I'm doing is we're going to do a fast-paced up-and-down drill, and then we're going to shoot 10. Then we're going to go to a couple other things, and they're going to go to a new basket, and they're going to shoot 10. Trying to get them in different situations, get their legs tired, get a different backdrop, because one end of our gym is a completely white background. The other end has a picture and banners. They get on a side basket, there's a different background. So just trying different things to help them or try to get them in a different mindset or a different focus so we can start knocking them down. Because I told the kids after both games, eventually that's going to catch up with us. And these 1, 2, 3, 4 point games aren't going to go the way we want because we can't finish free throws. I think Friday I told you guys in the last 14 seconds we were 0 for 4. To start the game on Saturday, I think we started 0 for 6. 0 for 6 or 0 for 7. I mean, it was hard.
And probably some of those are one-on-ones too, I assume, right? So.
Late in the game, we had some on Friday. So I mean, we go 10 of 21, but we didn't have an opportunity at 3 or 4 more.
Right.
So, and I told the kids, if we make half of those, let's say on Saturday, we go 16 of 25. That's a 9-point, 10-point win. I mean, there's a big difference in a 4-point game and a 10-point game, and it's really just knocking down free throws.
How's it compared to the rest you're shooting from the field, other than the obvious putbacks? It's got to up the percentage, but, your perimeter shooting, 3-point wise. And
I feel like we hit 3 or 4 threes on Friday night, and going into that game on the year, we had only hit 2. So in the first 4 games, we had only hit 2, and Friday night, I feel like it was 3 or 4. Saturday, I feel like we hit 1. So that's getting better. I think we're getting better looks inside the paint, more high percentage looks. Sometimes we're struggling to finish them, but we're getting better looks than we have when we're trying to drive or trying to attack and shoot off the dribble. So our shooting will get figured out. Like I told you guys last week, we're changing up our offense to go back to the more traditional 3-2 motion that we've run, which will get us better looks at the rim. And I think just as time goes on, we'll get more comfortable with that, and with that we'll get more confidence, and we'll end up sort of raising that shooting percentage from where it was.
Go ahead.
Do you have a traditional point guard on your squad? Somebody plays that role?
I've kind of been switching back and forth between 2 kids. It's really who can bring it up between Andrew Kolovis and Levi Church. Both handle the ball pretty well. Both can handle pressure pretty well. It's sort of, Levi is quicker and has some better dribble moves. Andrew's more comfortable. Andrew's left-handed. Levi's right-handed. So it's really just how they want to play or who gets the ball and ends up bringing it up. So sometimes it's just we get a rebound, we kick it to one of them, and that person ends up bringing it up just out of kind of how the game's flowing, I guess.
What's up the rest of this week for the Spartans?
As long as we can stay healthy, because the illness bug has hit us the last couple days. We're going to play Attica at home on Saturday. JV tips at 5, varsity tips at 6:30, and then we turn around next week and start the Indiana Kitchen Classic tournament.
Tell us, in case people don't know anything about that, what are teams involved, and
the Kitchen Classic is an 8-team tournament now based out of Delphi, with Delphi, Rossville, North Montgomery, Frankfort, Pioneer, Winnemac, Tri-County, and North Newton.
Boy, he didn't even use
I
the paper.
didn't need your paper.
Cheat for you. You didn't even look
I
at
didn't
it.
need it. The way they're doing it this year is it's a boy-girl tournament. So Monday we're starting off with boy-girl doubleheaders at host sites. So we will host Tri-County in a girls game starting at 5 p.m. and then a boys varsity game starting at 6:30 p.m. From there, win or lose, we play on the 21st. I believe that's the date on Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, we play on Wednesday. If we win, we play at Delphi. If we lose, we play at Frankfort High School. And then based on those second-round games, we'll determine whether we play on the 22nd or 23rd. But the 22nd and the 23rd, all those games will be at Delphi.
So the guaranteed 3 games then.
Guaranteed 3 games.
What are your thoughts on the tournament? What do you think?
I think it's a pretty balanced tournament. I think all the teams are – I think it's going to be a very competitive tournament. I think all the teams are pretty even, pretty balanced. It'll be nice to sort of be in a tournament with teams our size. The last couple of years we've been playing with Wheeler, Lake Station, and Hobart and haven't been really competitive. I think this one sets us up for a more competitive tournament both on the girls' side and the boys' side. And it'll give us a chance to see some different teams, some different styles, some teams that we probably wouldn't see any other way outside of playing in this tournament. We have the opportunity to play at a historic arena in Case Arena, although I hope that we never have to play there because that's the only place you play when you lose. It is a cool thing, and it's one of those historic gyms in Indiana that's really cool. It would be a cool experience for our kids if we ended up having to play there.
So you play Tri-County.
We play Tri-County in Game 1
What are your
on
thoughts
Monday.
What are your thoughts on that game?
Last year it was a tough battle. I know I lost a couple kids, but for the most part I bring back a lot. I think Ryan's in the same boat. that game was back and forth last year. We had a lead. We blew a lead. We got down 8. We ended up coming back and winning by 14. I think it'll be a balanced game. I think both teams play really hard. It's a conference opponent. We're familiar with each other, so it should be a good game on Monday night.
Junior varsity Spartans, how are they doing?
They're still struggling. They're still winless. They've been competitive. I think both games this weekend, the 3 games they played last week, I think the Hanover game was a 3-point game, and then the other 2 were pretty close. They're learning how to finish. For so long, I think our JV struggled to be competitive. We've got the competitive part down. Now it's trying to figure out how to win games. In the second half of both games, there's some costly turnovers. There's some poor free throw shooting. Just simple things that once they figure it out, I think wins are going to start rolling in. But it's that learning how to win or how to finish games. That's the toughest part. But those kids are working hard. They're practicing hard. They're getting better. We just have to shore up a few mental mistakes or fundamental errors, and then I think they'll really turn a corner.
Sam, appreciate you coming down today, and this will be our last show of the 2022 portion of the season, so have a good holiday. We'll see you in the first part of January, all right?
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Sam.
Sam Zachary from the North Newton Spartans, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Okay, Bob Kurtz and Scotty Miller with you here tonight. Coach's Cage program from Arnie's. Again, this will be the last Coach's Cage of 2022. We'll take the next 2 weeks off, and then we will be back with you, I think, the 4th.
January 4th.
January 4th. So, anyway, Brandon Bradley has joined us now from the Kankakee Valley Lady Cougars. Brandon, good to see you again. Another winning stretch here from the last time we talked to you, right?
8 in a row now for the Cougs.
8 in a row. Well, you kind of predicted that, or you kind of said
well,
we could
said
do
that
that
as a goal.
Yeah.
I don't know about predicted, but you can't predict a lot when you put your your job in the hands of teenagers. No, they've worked hard. They've played really well of late, and we talked last week about the Hanover game and kind of struggling with the practice before, and then Wednesday night and Thursday night we have 2 of our best practices of the year, and come out and just really competed a tough conference game against a very good Hobart team this year.
Tell us about the game then.
We came out early and got up, and then they clawed their way back and did the same thing in the second quarter, and actually they hit a shot to go up 1 at halftime, and it was a little deflating to a degree, and in the third quarter then we got down 5 or 6 at one point, cut it to 3 to start the fourth, and It was just one of those games that was there wasn't a great flow in the second half. There was a lot of physicality. There was a lot of fouls, free throw trips, that kind of thing, and it was tough for either team really to get a rhythm there late in the game. But they had a couple kids that had to go to the bench with their fifth foul, and at that point then we started to turn them over and really extend our pressure, and we had a couple big steals late. We had one that I thought down the stretch there, senior Laney Capillari and junior Maddie Murray were playing really well together in their trapping situation, and they turned them over a couple times in a row, and then Laney picked up a steal, threw it ahead to Maddie. Maddie got fouled shooting and came down, hurt her ankle really bad, and junior Juliet Starr came in off the bench and made a huge free throw that put us up for good. At that point, then they didn't score the rest of the game. So, it was loud. There might have been 3 dribbles and 2 extra shots after the buzzer because no one could really hear what was going on in there. But if you weren't looking at the clock, you had no idea. But a lot of celebration afterwards, and for us, that's a conference win. So 3-0 in the conference now. We don't play another conference game until mid-January. So
who played well for you?
Well, those 2 or 3 that I've already mentioned. I thought Laney had a great defensive second half, had a couple big scores in the lane for us. Maddie's really started to take off. We've got those juniors now are starting to get more comfortable with experience. Lily Toppin, for most of the game, guarded the state's leading scorer, and we held her. She came in at 31-6, and she left with 19. So
you're pretty
it's happy with
that.
Win,
yeah, that's and it was a team effort. Lily drew the assignment initially. Brooke Swart, a junior, spent some time on her, and then Kate Thomas, a senior, a little bit of time on her late in the game. And that game was more about we needed to control the defensive end of the floor. Anytime you've got a kid that can put up numbers like that, at the 4A level is, she does something special, and she's incredibly athletic. And what impressed me the most about their kid was that she's got a quick second jump. So as soon as she gets a shot away, she's exploding to the rim or jumping to the rim or just going by somebody trying to get that rebound. I mean, she's averaging close to 11 rebounds a game as a guard as well. Yeah. And
what kind of size does she have?
About 5'9".
Oh my goodness.
Athletic frame,
Wow.
and tremendous length. I mean, probably 6 foot wingspan or more. And she's signed with Indiana State, so she's obviously a D1 kid. But it was a tough matchup for us as a team. But I thought we did a great job of really focusing on her and keeping her off the boards. I thought their other kids were the ones that kind of snuck in there and grabbed some of the rebounds. That was something that we addressed at halftime. I thought we were better in the second half, but still gave them a few too many second chance opportunities. So. But again, I mean, we've talked a few times about how when we play teams that we feel like, we have an advantage over as a team, it's going to take some luck here and there at times to beat us, whether it's a banked in shot or something just slips off your hands or what have you. And that was a game where I felt like down the stretch, we actually got the ball to bounce our way a few times and made some key plays when we needed to, and it's I think the third time now that we've come back in close games, and the coaching staff was kind of all in agreement that a year ago maybe we don't win that game, and that's where they've kind of grown and matured and the mental toughness that side of the game. So that's it's a big win. I mean, again, 3-0 in the conference, and we got an opportunity in mid-January to play Munster and Andran and battle for the conference title. So
I'm looking at your schedule, and you've got like all big games coming up, every one.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got Morgan tomorrow, they're ranked in 1A. Benton Central on Saturday. Chesterton next Tuesday. They've had a great season so far with young kids. And then we go to the holiday tournament, and we play Westfield first, and then, either Twin Lakes or Clinton Prairie, and and the other half of it, I mean, Crown Point's sitting over there, Mount Vernon's sitting over there. I mean, it's a really good tournament this year. So they're and then we come back from break and get Lake Central, North Judson, and we're in that rest of our conference season. So it's no breaks here. You gotta be on your toes every game and be prepared and get the kids prepared. And we've watched a lot of film. So
do the girls seem like they're grasping that? And
yeah, they've got a real appreciation for it. We've kind of switched actually our approach to film the last couple of weeks. Before I would have, typed up bios on just about every kid, and they just had to read it. Well, what we've done the last few weeks is we give them their names, their heights, their stats, that kind of stuff, but then we go through each one of them and make them write notes. And they have admittedly said that they feel like they're retaining more of it because they're actually writing it down, and it sits with them a lot. And then a couple of them now are starting to take notes while they're watching film. Here's how I would do this with that girl, and so forth. And we jokingly, our big sophomore asked me to put pictures on there. She's like, I'd recognize them better if you can put headshots on there for me. I was like, yeah, I'll drive there and get them for you every game.
That's right.
No, it's nice to have a group that's mature, that appreciates those kind of things. And they watch, everybody talks about huddle and trading film and all that kind of stuff. There's a section where we can look at each of our players on our roster and see how much film they're watching. And it's fun to go through there and see not the minutes, but the hours that they're sitting there watching.
Absolutely,
film.
yeah.
So now I tease them that they probably open their laptop and go do whatever and come back and log an hour. But no, they really do appreciate it and put in their own time, and it's fun to see. So
give us a little scouting report on both of your opponents the rest of this week here.
Well, again, Morgan, they are a very, very good 1A team. They're going through a tough stretch right now themselves. They've lost 3 of 4, but they're playing, Porter County Conference opponents, and that's a really strong conference. They lost by 1 to South Central the other day. I saw them play Couts on Saturday, and they were up double figures at one point before losing. They've got good size for a 1A school, and they shoot it a lot outside too. And we're going to have to be very disciplined and very focused that game and just take care of the basketball. Benton Central, they're kind of a wild card because they're that team that they've always been a successful program, very strong, obviously, and with all their semi-state, state final runs, and I know they're limited on numbers as a total program this year, but they still have some ball players there. Where we struggled with them last year, I thought we did a really nice job defending them, but they suffocate you defensively, and we really struggled to score a year ago. So that's something that we're going to be focused on going into Saturday, is figure out ways we can manufacture points. And
a little bit like Valparaiso did to you.
Yeah, and that's Benton Central does it in the half court, though. They're one of the best half court man defensive teams. At least they were a year ago. That we play against. They've got good back end support with a really nice big, and they pressure the ball, and they force you into things you just don't want to do. Make you catch it higher out than you want to, and play just a little bit more sped up and all in within the half court. And so that's something that we're going to have to just, and some of it's mental. You get to a point where, like with Crown Point this year, I feel like we can compete with Crown Point going into the sectional, but they've had so much success against us in the recent past, and that's kind of what we remember. And it's like, well, you got to move on from that. It's a different year, different team. So that's what we're focused on too with Benton Central is, hey, look, this isn't last year. This isn't 2 years ago. This is this year's team. Let's focus our team this year against their team this year. Keep it simple, and just go in there and compete and try to win a game on the road, a big game on the road. So,
Junior varsity Cougs, how are they doing now?
still undefeated.
Can't get much better than that, can you?
Yep.
How much?
They've had a couple of 10-0.
10-0?
They had a tough one at Hanover Tuesday, and it took them a minute against Hobart the other day, but they stretched that out pretty easy down last couple quarters. And
what makes them so good at the
it's
JV
experience.
level?
We've got a few juniors playing still, and you talk about JV or even like freshman C team basketball. If you've got good guard play, you're going to win a lot of games, and we've got extremely good guard play there. can take care of the ball, can shoot the ball, So I think that's the biggest part of it, just the depth of our program, and having the number of kids that we have, but then the number of kids that have, just the experience, just basketball experience, basketball IQ, those type of things. So,
do you have a freshman team?
Yeah, we've got a C team technically.
That's what just a great thing for these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teams fighting to get enough for varsity.
Yeah, and we'll have anywhere from 15 to 18 on our middle school teams as well.
Wow.
And so that's neat to see as a head coach, and you hope you can try to roll double figures in every year as freshmen. And
have they started their season?
No,
school?
I think 7th and 8th will start practices next week. And
they play in January mainly, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and then 6th grade starts either like mid or late January, I believe, with their practices and plays in February.
Do you get involved with that? Do you have the time?
Oh, absolutely. When I'm not in our gym, I'm down there sitting, watching practice, watching games. We make our high school team go to 3 or 4 games a year and support them because, I think the thing that gets lost in all of this is kids who are 3 years older than you to 3 years younger than you affect your career at some point. And you've got to take pride. Even if the kids are 3 years younger than you, you got to take pride in those kids because when you're a senior, they're going to be in your gym as freshmen. And, if you invest in them, they can help you be better as seniors. And that's something that we really stress with the kids. But they're willing. They love it. They go down there and cheer. The kids get nervous. It's funny, I went to a fall league game down in Lafayette a couple weeks ago, and the kids were nervous. Just because I showed up, and it's like, no, breathe. It's just basketball.
Yeah, it is just a game.
So nothing to prove today.
Who coaches the middle school levels for you?
Well, Aubrey Van Meter is our 8th grade coach. Michael Clark is our 7th grade coach, and then DeFries is our 6th grade coach. His brother's the head coach at DMC.
At DMC, okay.
Yep. So, and they've been in those positions for multiple years now each, and good people, really good people, but we've got, like I said, great numbers, and our 8th and 7th have been undefeated all the way through. Not sure what to expect out of 6, just haven't seen them yet. So we're looking for good things out of those 3 grades here this year. So,
Brandon, thanks for coming down. I appreciate it, and we're off for the next couple of Wednesdays, and we'll join back again January 4th, all right?
Well, I appreciate it. You guys enjoy your holiday.
Okay.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Get plenty of rest and plenty of food.
Absolutely.
Those are the 2 goals, right?
Brandon Bradley from the Kankakee Valley Lady Cougars. Back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KG, thekage.com after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Ream Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask, give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
Nobody can blame anybody anymore.
All right. Hey.
Just like a golf coach, you just fire him.
When the music comes on, then you got to be quiet, and then we'll introduce you so people know who you are.
Oh, I don't need.
Don't you know? I know you don't.
My wife will tell you that. I don't need.
Yeah, I know.
Just play the music.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what Prime says? Prime Dion said, "Just play my. Who's got my music?"
Well, you know what time it is when this
Hit my
gentleman
music.
shows up. Wes Radke from the Rensselaer Central Lady Bombers has joined us. 2 games to talk about, right?
2 games.
One up and one down,
One up and
unfortunately.
one down. And, it is what it is. I mean, I can watch the film 25 times and it still ends up the same.
Doesn't change at all.
No, it doesn't. Just gives me more gray hair.
Free throw shooting last night, huh? We'll talk about that later,
we'll talk about that.
Let's go back to Delphi.
Delphi game, we're coming in that after losing a tight one at BC. Wasn't real sure, to be honest with you, how we were going to respond, because Delphi is a very physical team. They were 6-5, a new coach and Todd Woodland, and he's been around for a long time, and wasn't real sure how we would respond with their physicality, because in the past when we play them, usually at Delphi, it's an ugly game because we just don't respond well for some reason. So Coach Van Meer and I both were kind of like, I don't know what we're hopefully we come out and do what we're capable of doing, and we did. We came out and jumped on them quickly and early and got up on them 17-8 in the first quarter, and then we went on a 15-7 run, and at halftime it was 32-15, and Taylor's doing well, Sarah Kaufman's doing well. Roland and Brody come off the bench doing some really good things. Actually, this was a game where I think Brody started because Roland was sick and we didn't have Fleming because she got hurt in the game at BC with her shoulder. So that was another thing. We didn't know how we're going to respond if with Brody starting and some other girls doing some things. And again, we came in, like I said, jumped on them early and often and turned them over quite a bit and frustrated them and hitting shots. I mean, we shot the ball really well in that game, all throughout the game. It just wasn't one quarter in particular. It was every quarter we were hitting shots. So, we ended the game 68-30. Never really had too much to worry about there too much. I mean, there at the end, they hit some free throws, but when the game was well in hand, I mean, in the third quarter, we scored 23 to their 10, and it was nice to see the things happening.
68 points, you must have had a lot in double figures.
Yeah. Well, we had 3 of them in double figures. Taylor had 27.
Wow.
And Kaufman had 14. Roland had 10. Carly Drone had 8. And between Brody and Lola Chamness and Cammie Davis got one at the end, they each had 2. So it was kind of nice to see 3 of them scoring double figures. We had a lot of other opportunities for some others to step up, but needless to say, it was a good win for us at home. It was good for the girls to have some of that confidence and kept every one of their girls from getting in double figures scoring wise, and you got a nice little guard and a Pickering girl who's very aggressive, and we handled her pressure and kept her from going off, and again it ended up 68-30.
Were you able to keep foul trouble down?
Yes, no. Brody still fouled out of that game in the start of the fourth quarter. She fouled out just on 2 fouls so quick that I couldn't even get her out. I mean, it was like boom, boom, and I'm like, I had a sub for you. You couldn't wait. So she fouled out, but other than that, everybody else held their own and did pretty good. And again, without playing Fleming,
You know, it was nice to see us respond and being able to pick up where she was you know, not able to help out.
And last night you took on Andrean at home. Tell us about that game.
So last night, Andrean, at home against Andrean, which we had played them a few years ago when we had COVID and we needed some games and they came to Rensselaer and really put it to us then, and we didn't respond really well. And so this whole off season, you know, coach kept calling and saying, you got to open it, you got a game open. When we dropped Griffith, I did have a game open, and he's, you know, wants to play us. I'm like, dude, why do you want to play us? He's like, because, you know, you're a good team and it'll be good, you know, good competition for us. And so we picked him up, and it was true. I mean, it was a great game. I didn't see you guys there. I didn't see a whole lot of people there, but it was a good game. It really was. And it was a good game to coach. It was a good game to watch. It was back and forth. The Tori Allen girl, she's a good player. She went off there and scored 28 for them. And we struggled there for a while, but at the end of the first quarter, it was 6-9, and we were up. And then at halftime, it's 15 to, I think, 6 or something. 15 to 16, sorry. And Tori Allen shoots some kind of weird shot. I don't even know how. I'm like, are you serious? And it goes in, which then puts him up. So at halftime, it's 19 to 15, and it's just a really hard-fought game. And we just didn't finish like we should have, and especially in the Delphi game. And we came out the second half, and we just didn't match their intensity in that third quarter. And they came out, and we caught back up to them. We scored 11, they scored 13. But again, it was just, come on, girls, let's go. And then we, at one point, with 2 minutes to go in the game, we're down by 11. And then before you know it, we're down by 2.
Really?
We just, I mean, Drone drills 2 threes back-to-back. Taylor gets 2 layups back-to-back. And Andrean's like, it was that fast. And we were getting after it. We had plenty of opportunities. Again, if you guys could watch that film with me, we just had so many opportunities where we could never just get over that hump. And that's what it seems like right now this year with my team is we're right there, and we just can't seem to step over that line. And it's frustrating for me. It's frustrating for the girls. But that's something for us to keep working at and get better at. And you know, the game ends up being 48-42 with Tori Allen hitting a couple free throws to seal the deal for him, but it went all the way down to the last couple seconds of the game for them to be able to put it away. So we fought hard. I was proud of the girls. They never gave up, and they just kept chipping away and putting themselves in a situation to win the game, and we just didn't get it done. So Drone led us with 12 points. Sarah Kaufman led us with 10. Followed behind with 10. Taylor struggled early on with her shot and free throws. She ended up with 8, and then it just kind of went through some different ones here or there. But, you know, the big thing is, and I've told you guys this, we didn't shoot well from the free throw line. We shoot 80% against Delphi and then 41% against Andrean. And you can't win games like that. It's tough. And we were still right there. I mean, we even as bad as we shot free throws, we still were in the position to win. And then we had layups that we didn't finish. We didn't finish it off, and especially towards the end of the game where we needed those buckets, we needed those layups, and we just didn't get the job done. So it's something that we're going to have to continue to work on and get better at. And you know, I hate to lose. I think my girls know that. I think everybody in the stands knows that, and it's something that you lose and you learn from those things, but you never accept losing. And I don't know if that's right or wrong from the world's perspective right now, but I don't like to lose and I don't accept it. And that's something that my program and the girls that play for me have to understand. And we learn from those losses, but we don't accept them. And we've got to get better at not losing games at that situation where we should be winning them.
Wes, when you got a squad that struggles at times on easy, layups, putbacks. Is there a way? How do you practice for that?
We just, like we did today, we went back and did layup lines, just repetition, repetition, repetition. Form shooting, repetition, muscle memory, just nonstop, just trying to get them to go at game speed the entire time instead of just going through the motions of it. No, go at game speed so you're making them at game speed in the game, so your body and your hand placement and the way the ball comes off your hand and the way you get a pass is all at that same speed every time. So it's just something we're going to have to continue to work at, and we work at it every day, just like we just shoot free throws every day. In practice, they're hitting free throws in the game. So we're doing different things all the time, trying to put pressure on the girls when it's time to shoot free throws. So we just gotta start having more confidence and not being so uptight. And I told the girls, you're gonna make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But we have to try to limit those amount of mistakes, and then, not keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. We got to learn from them. So there's some things I thought we did really well, and there's some things we got to continue to work on.
Does that frustrate you that one game you shoot the ball well from the field and the line, and the next one is like you haven't even shot the ball?
Yeah, and then you get people in the gym thinking, what is this guy doing with them all day in practice, or what is this, and why is that? So you get the coaches from the stands criticizing you, and they haven't been in practice to know what we do in practice every day. So, and that's par for the course, whatever. But it's frustrating because I know my girls, and you guys have heard me say this before, girls or boys, whichever I've coached, they don't miss the shots on purpose. But we still have to get better at it. We still have to be more focused on it and know that it's going to happen, especially when you can do it, when you shoot 80% and it happens. And there's no different in that game and this game other than we didn't finish free throws.
Looking ahead, Coach, Friday, is that postponed? Friday game?
I have no idea.
Don't know yet. Okay.
I haven't heard anything.
We'll talk with Ricky.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. So I talked with our AD today and didn't even talk about that necessarily, but he never mentioned anything to me. So I'm not sure. We're planning on still playing. I mean, that's how we practiced tonight, that we were still game planning and getting ready for South Newton on Friday night. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. There's no JV girls. I know that for sure because some of their players are hurt and stuff. So, we'll see what happens with Friday night. And then, Tuesday of next week we have Lowell. So we have to get ready for Lowell as well. So there's no break. There's no time to take a rest except on Saturday from 3 to 7 at the high school. If you want some Nelson's Porter Pit chicken and pork chop dinner, both the boys and girls teams will be there selling those pork chops and chicken dinners to help with fundraising for our programs. So if you got nothing to do on Saturday, come get buy a meal there. We'll have some there at the high school, but we got to get ready for possibly Friday night, and get ready for Lowell on Tuesday, and then we take a break there until January. We play January 7th or January 5th against North White. So we'll take a little time, and we'll go down. As I said last time, go and watch IU girls play on the 21st, and then we'll give the girls some time on Christmas with their families and time away from me, because I'm sure some of them would love to take some time away from me.
No, surely not.
I think my wife and my kids are like that too.
Yes.
Hard to believe. Yeah.
Only one that really likes to stay around me is Van Meter. Everybody else likes to leave. I mean, he's the only guy he likes to. We sit and talk all the time, but everybody else wants to leave. I don't know. I don't get it. But
7-6.
7-6.
What are what are your thoughts now as we're 13 games in?
13 games in, not anywhere where we anticipated being. A lot of those games, Van Meter and I were talking. We're young. We've made a lot of mistakes as far as the team goes, but doggone it, we were just at the threshold of a lot of those games where it could be. We could be sitting at 12-1 or 11-2 or something like that would be. But there's reasons for it all, and we don't see it right now, and we just got to keep working and trusting the process that we'll keep getting better as the season goes on, and that I've had so many coaches say, I'm glad I'm not drawing you in sectional, but that doesn't help you any when you're 7-6. But we just got to keep getting better. This is a very good team, one of the better teams I've had in a very long time, and the talent that's there is scary when they're really doing really good things, and when they're clicking on all the cylinders, and they're exciting to watch. So. Yeah, I'm bummed about that because I don't like to lose, but in the same aspect, there's a reason for it. We just got to keep looking ahead and keep grinding at it and putting the work in and keep getting better, and good things are going to happen for us if we just stay the course.
Coach, you're in that Hoosier Conference like a murderer's row. I'm looking at the all games marks.
And when you look at that,
goodness.
when you look at the offensive average of every team, we're right there where all the whole lineup is, and the defensive average. I mean. It's not like we're getting just smoked and buried. I mean, we're playing against it's always been this way, a tough conference, and we've got some games left in West Lafayette and Central Catholic left to, who knows what might happen there. But it's a pretty straightforward conference when you look at everybody and how they play offensively and defensively, and it's a dogfight every time you play, and we just got to again find that step to get over things and make some noise, and I'm excited for the opportunities.
JV Lady Bombers, how they doing?
Kind of up and down with the fact of 2 quarters here. It's tough to get a real. I mean, I'm grateful for the 2 quarters because some of that we
that's
had
right.
to.
Yeah, you're
because we had girls that were hurt or sick, so we had to play 2 quarters. But it's tough to really evaluate 2 quarters of basketball.
Right.
But they are getting the play. They're getting better every time. I'm seeing some really good things out of some of those girls, and some of them are getting some good playing time that normally, if we had a full roster, would get limited to this or that. So the playing time issue shouldn't be an issue for anybody because they're all getting the chance. They're all getting that look. So, and practices, they're playing against the varsity, so everybody's getting better each and every time. It's just hopefully – excuse me. Hopefully soon we'll get a chance to put a full game together back for them where they can play a whole full quarters.
All right, sir. Thanks for coming out tonight. We'll be off the next 2 weeks. So
where are you going? You going to play Santa Claus?
Oh, Bill wanted to take his time off, so
you're going to be an elf, is what you're going to do.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. So we'll see you in January. How about that? All right.
He likes to get off as soon as I start. He's afraid I might.
You're choking up.
Yeah,
there.
choking up on it already.
Don't. Anyway, thanks for all your help, and
all right.
We'll see you.
You're not doing any of my games? No, Lowell game, no.
Well, we're supposed to do it Friday, but I don't know about that yet.
Okay.
So,
well,
anyway.
if I see you Friday, we'll see you Friday.
All right.
If I don't see you fellas, have a good Christmas.
Okay. You
and a Happy New Year, and treat your wives and your daughters well, and don't think it's all about you.
All right. I'll take that words of wisdom there from Wes Radke has joined us. Back with more of the Coach's Cage after this on 3KGthecage.com.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117 or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Bob Kurtz along with Bill Kay and Scotty Miller are running things behind the scenes here for us tonight. Coach's Cage, our last show of 2022. We'll be taking the next 2 weeks off and come back at you on January the 4th. And Chris York has joined us now from the North Newton Ladies Spartans. First of all, how cool is that shirt he's wearing? Look at that, folks.
That's a beauty.
Tell us about that shirt.
This shirt was, I think, designed by Herb Baldwin, somebody on the SJC alumni board. And they wanted to do something. They wanted to have people go to Cooperstown because Gil Hodges was being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And a pretty decent-sized group from the Alumni Association went, and they bought these shirts. And Reen Bontrager is the one that made them.
Right.
So he's probably, if people like them, he could probably whip up some more.
Sure.
But he actually had these. He was selling these at homecoming this fall. So
Gil Hodges went to St. Joe.
Went to St. Joe's
played,
and was a Hall of Fame player, and then was a manager, and I think most notably with the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Mets.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. But it was a pretty exciting thing because it's St. Joe's and there's a baseball Hall of Famer now. So
sure,
that was really pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a lot of games to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn it over to you, and we got 3 to discuss. So take it away.
Yeah. So on Thursday last week, you guys saw the game. You guys did the game, and we got our third win in a row. I believe it was 44-25, I think. And I wrote on the board, be impressive, because it's one thing to win games, and sometimes games that you're supposed to win, but I wanted them to be impressive. I wanted just to look good, and I think we looked pretty good in the first quarter. We actually looked okay even in the second quarter, and I believe we had a 9 or so point lead or something at halftime, maybe 11, but we allowed them to score 17 points in the third quarter.
Yeah,
and they got right back. And
made
I think
a lot of shots.
They did. I mean, we just, again, we have this tendency to just look at kids when they're shooting, and when I tell them all the time, when I walk in the gym or they walk into my gym, they hit shots. Doesn't matter what we've seen on tape. It doesn't matter. They're going to hit shots, and we've just got this real big problem with getting there a step too late, and a hand doesn't get up, a shot goes in. I think they got to as close as 5 points. Something like that. And then we pulled away in the fourth quarter a bit because they had at least 2 girls foul out, including their leading scorer that scored, I think, 17 points against
Standish
us.
girl, yeah.
Right. So, it wasn't an impressive win, but it was a big win because we won, the inter-county game, and we got that big trophy. Yeah, I got to see what that was.
Yeah.
Got to take pictures with the trophy and all that kind of stuff. So that was exciting, and it was our third win in a row, and that took us to 3-7 after 0-7.
Who played well for you that night?
In that game, McKenna had 21. McKenna Schleeman, she had 11 rebounds. Lexi Cunningham had 4 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 steals. June Busboom had 5 steals, and Madeline Ehrenholtz had 3 assists. And 6 steals. So again, it was kind of a stat stuffer kind of game. We still had. Oh, you know what? You guys need to go to more of our games because we didn't have very many turnovers. We had 17 turnovers in the game, and that's a season low. We didn't turn the ball over. Now, in the next 2 games I'm going to talk about, I can't say that same thing,
okay.
Unfortunately. But, that was a big win for us. And, again, winning 3 in a row is a whole lot better than losing 7.
And beating your county rival. Too.
Yes, that's right. And that got us on the right foot in the conference. We were 1-0 in the Midwest Conference. And then we had another conference game, a place I'd never been to, Faith Christian. So we played them, and I had seen them play a couple games, and I guess I was duped because I thought that we were going to go into that game and be more competitive than what we actually wound up being. I knew they had 2 very good athletes. I knew they had 2 very good freshmen. but we didn't have any answers for them. They scored 53. We lost 53 to 21, and they scored 47 of their 53 points. It was one of those deals where we were allowing drives, and when number 5, that was the coach's daughter, I think her last name's Lehman or something, when she would drive and she'd shoot this teardrop, if she didn't make it, then number 2, the smallest kid on the court, would get a rebound and put it back. So it was one of those deals. We got to a point in that game, I told the girls, it just looked like we kind of gave up, that we didn't really show much interest at all in playing defense, and we just got to a certain point where it was just like, Because we started the game, and we were only down 7-6. McKenna had 3 straight buckets. They had no answers. As soon as they came and they kind of pinned her with two players, it was like we forgot how to play. She didn't get as many shots as usual. She's always double figures, and she had 8 shots. But that was our first 6 points of the game, were her only 6 points of the game. She finished with 10 rebounds and 3 blocks, but the rest of it, we really didn't do a whole lot. We were down in the first quarter. It was 16-6 and 30-10 at halftime. I mean, and in a low-scoring game, 30-10, we might as well be down by 40. So it didn't take long. We were at the 35-point mark, and it was one of those deals where there was a running clock, and we didn't shoot well. We had tons of turnovers. We had 33 turnovers. So everything just kind of fell apart in that game. It was just kind of, I'm going to use the word icky. It was just kind of a gross game. Everything was slow motion, and we just didn't have any answers. So I was just kind of glad to get out of there. It was just kind of a bludgeoning.
Coach, what's the secret to teaching gals to close out, on defense against shooters?
The only thing is, it's not using very technical terms. It's just go out with choppy steps so that you don't have all your momentum going and they just get around you. But we still haven't mastered that yet. Our footwork is really pretty bad, and you guys have heard me use the word factory. Well, today I wrote it on my practice plan. We had the passing and catching factory, we had the dribbling factory, we had the shooting factory, and then the defensive factory. We're trying to build basketball players. So that's kind of the approach I'm going to take from now on. It's going to be less about what everybody else is doing and less about our plays, because we could be in the right places and moving to the right spots, but if we can't get the ball where it needs to go, it doesn't matter if we work on offenses. And defensively, we're working on that more. In fact, I told the girls today, I'm kind of kicking myself for not coming into the job and just doing man-to-man from the get-go. And, everything you hear, and you guys have seen us, we're not fleet of foot. We are not very quick. And I don't know what would happen if we did, but at least we would have some different concepts in place. We wouldn't get beat off the dribble, which would then help us in our zone defense. So that's maybe something, if I had to do it again, I would do. But that's what we're doing right now. We're picking up right now on that.
I noticed in the South Newton game, and I'm sure probably most every team you face, they're kind of like double teaming Schliemann.
Absolutely.
Is that how do you combat that, or how do you get her open to?
Well, we had this conversation on Thursday night. No, not last night. If you get double teamed, somebody else is open, and the problem is, she's grabbing it and she's trying to make something happen. She puts the ball on the ground. As soon as she puts the ball on the ground, all the mini-mites come out, and they're taking the ball from her.
In front of her and then back of her.
So she's accumulating as many turnovers as some of our ball handlers, and it's only because when she catches, and we talked about this last night, so this is not like I'm talking out of school. I said, you catch the ball, when they're on you, you throw it right back out and you reestablish yourself. Maybe you get a different angle on this side, and maybe you get the ball in a better place where you can just put it straight up. But when you put it down, you're going to lose the ball. She doesn't have super strong hands. So when people are collapsing on her, she's got to get rid of it immediately and just reposition herself, and she can get it back. That's going to make the shooters better. Throwing it in, reestablishing, catching, and then they have a better open shot than just a catch and shoot beforehand. But it's going to be a process. But there are people. We didn't have Lexi last night, and Lexi would have been somebody maybe to be the first post to get the ball and then throw to McKenna, or for McKenna to have the ball and then throw to Lexi. We've done a really good job this year of them kind of learning each other a little bit and having post-to-post passes. We didn't have that option last night. So that was something in the Boone Grove game that I kind of wish we would have had. Back to the not Fountain Central, the Faith Christian game. Lexi had 9 points. She was our leading scorer. She had 9. McKenna had 6, and a girl that normally plays JV, Maria Oliver Barrio. She's an exchange student from Spain. She hit 2 outside shots and she had 4 points. To finish that out, Lexi had a couple of assists. Madeline Ehrenholtz had 5 assists, and that's really the big numbers from that game outside of turnovers. And last night, we talked before we went on air that we went into the Boone Grove game last night. Boone Grove came in 0-10, and I knew that they were hungry and we were wounded. I mean, we had 2 of our top 6 players not play. So we knew that we had our work cut out for us.
Illness, I assume?
Well, yeah,
Or
they were both illnesses,
Yeah.
yes. We got one of those back today, and the other one we get back tomorrow for practice, and we'll have on Saturday. But, watching them on film, they were hitting shots and everything. They just had some bad luck in some games. And so that 0-10 kind of was more of a mirage. I mean, they were more athletic than we were last night. They went after it harder than we did. They were quicker, and they hit shots. And we shot 15 out of 32 for the game. That should be pretty good, right? That's almost 50%.
Yeah.
But when you have 35 turnovers, that's shots that you don't get.
Yep.
And Boone Grove was a team, again, that didn't press us. So these turnovers are taking place in the half court where we see somebody open and we airmail it. Or we see somebody open and we throw it at their shins. So again, when we can just kind of rein those in a little bit, we'll be a different team. But until that happens, until those basic skills come, it's going to be a struggle. And in that game, we were only down by 1 at halftime. We were down 15-12, then we were down 21-20, and I considered that kind of a win considering where we were. But then we gave up 18 points in the third. We were down by 11, and I told the girls, I don't know if they like this or not, but they had their JV kids in the fourth quarter because they felt that comfortable with an 11-point lead. They had their JV kids in the fourth quarter, and we couldn't dent it because we kept throwing the ball away, and we had our starters in. So it was just one of those games. I told the girls I wasn't upset by the fact that we lost to an 0-10 team because that happens sometimes, and our circumstances, it was bound to possibly. But I didn't like the way we lost. I didn't like the fact that we had so many turnovers and we shot so well, but we didn't get a chance to shoot well on those turnovers. So,
you need about 20 more field goal tries, don't you?
Well, if we're going to shoot 50%, and in that we lost by 10. So in that game, McKenna had a good percentage, 12 out of 19, and she scored 21. No, she didn't. She scored 16 because we scored. We scored 35. Yeah, so she scored 16 of them. I don't know. She had 7 rebounds. Madeline Ehrenholtz had a game where she didn't really score, but she had 10 rebounds. She had 7 assists. 7 of our 15 baskets came from her assists, and she also had 6 steals. So she really had a game, even though she really wasn't on the scoreboard much. But she had 4 points. But it was just a frustrating loss. So now we're 3-9. And we've got DeMont Christian tomorrow, who's no slouch at all. I mean, they're 9-2.
Big one in the conference.
Yes, big one in the conference. It's
we
a
did
road
their game
game.
Monday. They got
tall girls, yeah.
Yes.
height throughout.
Who did they play on Monday?
Tri-County.
Yeah.
Tri-County was up by 11 at one point early in the third. Blinked, and all of a sudden DeMont was up by 11.
Yeah,
it was like a 22-point turnaround in the same quarter.
They're all very similar kinds of players. They're all about the same height. They're the same build. They're all quick. They can all shoot. It's one of those deals,
They love to run.
Yeah, right. And we're gonna have to really bring it. I mean, all these times that we get out slowly on shots, they're just gonna put them in our face. So we're gonna have to really step it up, or we're gonna have more of the same against these decent teams that. They score and then we get down and we don't have an answer for it. So we're gonna have to really bring it tomorrow.
And what else the rest of the week?
Well, we have 6 games over 2 week a 2 week span
smokes.
because we have the
tournament, right?
the
Oh,
tournament.
that's right.
We have Covington coming in on Saturday, a 10 o'clock JV game, and then we play at home with the boys. We play against Tri-County at 5 o'clock on Monday in that tournament, and the boys play after us. And then after that, we play on Wednesday and Thursday, and who and where depends on whether we win or lose.
Yeah. Okay.
And, we've seen Tri-County. We saw them at the Jamboree, and we weren't ready. We didn't have everybody. We might have had 6 kids dressed, and not all of those kids were kids that we dress right now with our varsity squad. And they scored 35 points in a quarter.
Whoa.
They just ambushed us. We didn't have any answers for any of their pressure, and they hit threes. And we're a different team than we were in that one quarter because that was, a long time ago. But I know they're good. Their record doesn't show that they're as good as they are, I don't think. I forgot what their record was, but it was about 3 or 4 and 6 or something.
4 and 7 right now.
Right. So, they play some good teams, and I know that they're a good team, and I know what they've done to us already. So, yeah, we're busy. And once we play that game on Thursday, whatever it's for, whatever part of the tournament it is, I won't see the kids again until the following week. I'm debating whether that's going to be Thursday or whether it's going to be Friday the 30th. Couple that practice with hopefully get in some 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls coming in to do a little clinic for about an hour and a half on that Friday and Saturday because they get started the following week. But we've got to get started with that in the lower levels because of what we have right now.
How's your JV team progressing?
Well, they lost. They played their first game against Lake Station, which we talked about a couple weeks ago. It was Lake Station, Hebron, and Griffith. They lost those games. But then we played 2 quarters at South Newton and won. We played 2 quarters at Faith Christian and won. And last night they played 4 quarters. When I was telling the JV coach, I was like, I need these players because we have a couple people out. So he was shorthanded, and in the 4th quarter, they had about a 7-point lead, but it got all the way down to like 2, and they still won. So they've got a 3-game winning streak, and they're 3-3. So, it's not the prettiest of basketball, but it's confidence building.
Sure.
It's program confidence building to have these kids at JV that didn't even play any games. All of a sudden, they're 3-3. So that's a big plus.
All right, Chris, we're going to take the next couple of weeks off from the coaches' show, so good luck the rest of this week and next week, and we'll see you on January 4th about that.
All right. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Coach.
Yeah, you too. You guys have a great
Spartan
break.
family there.
Yeah.
All right. Chris York from the North Newton Lady Spartans. Back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3kgthecage.com right after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Back
on the Coach's Cage, Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, and Scotty Miller with you here from Arnie's in Rensselaer, right across from St. Joseph's College. Bill Shepard has joined us now from the Kankakee Valley boys basketball team. Bill, good to see you. How you doing?
Pretty good, Bob. How you guys doing?
Doing okay. Well, let's talk about, I think you have 2 games to talk about.
Yep. Last week, Thursday, we traveled to Morgan Township to take on the Cherokees up there, the PCC school, obviously. But, pretty good ball club. Just one of those games where, we just kind of like a Rensselaer game where, they played really, really hard, really, really physical. And, we just didn't react very well to it. I mean, we had some spurts at times, but, we were down. I think we lost by 10, 58-48, but it was like we were down 10 the entire game. I think we were down 10 at halftime and 10 at the end of 3. And then we had some runs here and there, cut it to 5 a couple times, missed a 3. I think they could have cut to 3 or 2 at one point in time, and but just never really got into a flow. It was one of those situations where I think we're still the varsity kids that are returning. That have played before, I think they're still trying to. I mean, the phrase is "play to the back of the baseball card." Where the stats are at. I think they're still trying to get to their averages, and they're all getting new roles, and the new ones are. It's just taking them a while, a little longer than anticipated. I think to get them or have them settle in, and I just think it's showing right now. I think they're kind of. I don't want to say they're overwhelmed, but I just think they're kind of surprised that the JV to varsity is it's a big step.
It's a new role
for
each one of them too, right?
Yeah, and and the speed of the game is just so much quicker, and it's everything's like I said. I just think that they thought, well, summer's this way, so the season will be this way, and summer's a little bit different. I mean, everybody's more laid back. Nobody schemes for you in the summertime, and you never know if somebody's missing their shooting guard or they're on vacation at Disney World or whatever. You just never know, and so it's just one of those things where I just think it's taken us a while to settle in. Credit Morgan Township, they played really hard, but we just we just had another one of those games where coming off a couch, with a win, just one of those where we took a step back, I thought, and I was just very disappointed in the result and our execution, especially on the offensive end, and just didn't come away with the win. And then Saturday night against the toughest team, maybe the toughest team on our entire schedule, to be quite honest about it, Valparaiso, and we come into that game and we are down 8 at halftime, which is closer than we were to Morgan at halftime, which is kind of weird. We had Colton Pribble hits a 3-pointer with 2 minutes in the third quarter, and we're down 5, and we were playing really well, and then Valpo goes on a 13-0 run over the next 3 minutes on us and kind of puts the game away. And then once again, not that we played bad, it's just we're just not making shots. And the guys that we, like I said before, the back of the baseball card, some of the guys that we're kind of relying on to make these shots, they're just in a funk right now and not making the shots. And and we shot 35% against Valpo, and Valpo plays pretty good D, but we were getting good looks and we just didn't knock them down consistently. We did for 2+ quarters. But, and then we had a cold spell, and, it was one of those situations where, after the cold spell, we wound up losing by around 20. But after the cold spell, we played them pretty even the rest of the way. We were it was like a 15-point game, I think, when both teams kind of put their JVs in with about 2 minutes left. So, kind of, just that run kind of hurt us. And it was kind of weird, though. The locker room after Morgan Township was very, very down and very, very like, where are we going? But then after Valparaiso, it's kind of like, wait a minute, we do believe we can do this, and they, to a man, they're like, we can beat that team if we play them in March. And well, if we hit a few more shots here and there, it would have been a totally different ball game. So, losing by 20, it's like my assistant coach texted me later that night. He goes, I never felt so good losing by 20.
That's kind of weird, isn't it?
I'm like, I know, but I think after the Morgan Township game, we were all kind of worried about how was it going to go, because it could have went really south, and especially with you lose Morgan Township, Valpo comes in, you're like, well, here we go, and like I said, probably the toughest team overall on our schedule, and played well. I mean, really for about 2.5 quarters, played our best game of the year. Just didn't execute enough to beat a team quite like that.
And another big one tomorrow in the conference coming up.
Well, Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Friday.
I was going to say, holy cow, tomorrow. I don't know if I got a game on my
You had your one Thursday game, right?
Yeah. I mean, Andrean coming in. We want to start our conference 1-0. We want to build off the Valpo game, and show that's how we can play, but better. Still trying to get the new guys into the flow of things as best we can, and we're going to be pretty decent once those things start falling into place, But it's just it's tough being patient, especially in today's world where everything's at the tip of your fingers and stuff. It's tough being patient with that kind of stuff, but we're just kind of every day in practice is a day to get better, and Andrain coming in, if we can go 1-0 in conference, then that sets up a game at Munster shortly after the new year that could easily be for the conference like it was last year. And that's kind of our goal. Is we want to go 1-0 and then go to Munster and see where we're at, because that'll give us 3 more weeks to get ready for that game. And we're looking forward to Andrain coming in. We beat them last year at their place, so they're going to probably want some revenge. But I think we got the pieces to beat them, especially if we play like we did Saturday night. It's just putting stringing those things together and having our experienced guys play like experienced guys, then having our new guys start playing a little more comfortable. And that's what we're waiting on.
Who has been playing well for you so far in this young season?
Well, if you're looking at scoring, Cam Webster, our junior, is doing well. He's averaging probably 15 points a game, a little over that, and maybe 16ish or so. And but he will even tell you. He even told me in the hallway just yesterday. He goes, "Coach, I got to start hitting more shots." And that's. Against Valpo, he's 4-17. And it's one of those where he's not. And some of those were challenged, but he also missed a lot of shots. He'll tell you straight up. I should hit those. And Colton Pribble, who I think has played really solid for us. And he's not a guy that's going to score 10 points tonight for you. And he's just going to be a solid, steady point guard. And he's probably the one kid that has played to the back of the baseball card. But against Valpo, he's 1 for 6. He had 4 or 5. He had about 3 or 4 interior good look finishes in traffic, but good looks that he'll tell you. I know every night I'm going to hit 3 or 4 more of those. It's just those types of things we got to start doing better. But those two in particular, I think have played well, but they'll be the first to tell you that they need to be more consistent with what they do.
Are you happy with your rotations, or are you still tinkering on who's playing with each other?
Still tinkering, because it's just, once again, especially when I got 2 new starters, but then my whole bench is new from JV, and it's just trying to get them up to speed a little bit too. But like Valpo, I hardly subbed in the first quarter or first half, because the guys are just playing well. And it's one of those where I had 2 substitutions in the entire first half, and it was both because I had kids that had 3 fouls. And it was one of those where you try to let them play it out, and then it gets 3 fouls before halftime. I'm like, I got to take you out now. But if we didn't get in foul trouble, I don't think I would have subbed the whole first half. But that's because they were playing so well. Valpo hit a 3 at the buzzer to go up 8 or other, and it was a wild shot too. So, but that's Valpo makes those types of shots. But I'm still tinkering with my rotations. We need to get our bench a little bit more playing time too, to get them, because there are JV kids coming up and they need to be brought up to speed too. So, still tinkering around. And when you're playing teams like Valpo and Andrain, and we got Munster and Michigan City as a back-to-back after the first of the year and stuff. It's hard in those types of games to go too deep, because you're playing either good athletes or good fundamental, solid, skilled basketball players. So they present challenges to you.
What's up next week for the Cougs?
We travel to Boone Grove actually on Thursday. On Thursday night, so we got another Thursday game. We travel to Boone Grove. That's actually our last day of school before break, and then we go up to Boone Grove that night and we play. And then we're off until the 28th. After that, we play in the Highland Holiday Tournament. We drew Benton Central in Game 1 on the 28th.
How many teams in that tournament?
There's 8 teams.
8 teams.
Yeah, 4 play on the 28th and 4 play on the 29th.
That'll be a good test.
Then you get together on the 30th for like your 7th, 5th, 3rd, and 1st place games and stuff. And Benton Central's gonna be a good chore for us. They're another solid ball club. We're hoping that by that time, give us another couple more weeks, we'll have more kids settled in. And then if we win or lose, we'll play the winner or loser of Whiting and Highland after that, and then we'll go to the 3rd day and kind of see where we match up with the other side. So that's what we got over the holidays. So the Highland tournament provides us a great opportunity to win a championship. If we can get by Benton Central, we got a great opportunity to win that thing. And right now though, the focus is on getting that 1-0 against Andrain and starting off the conference on top, and see if we can stay there.
Seems like something like that would just do wonders for your confidence.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, that's people from holiday tournament this, holiday tournament that. Those are big deals to win. I mean, when you win a championship, it's a big deal. And that's if you're going to be in a tournament. I mean, you want to come out first, and that's going to be great for our kids if we can get that. Especially going and following that with a week and a half later when you get Munster and Michigan City back to back and stuff like that. So it would be great to get that, and we're working every day and trying to get better and trying to be a little more cohesive with what we do, and it's like I said, it tests your patience a little bit, but that's all part of the gig.
Junior varsity Cougs, how are they doing?
They're 4-1. They beat Morgan Township by about 20 or so on that Thursday night, and then they did lose to Valpo by 15. Valpo's always solid, so they played them. They were right with about the same. Their Valpo game was kind of like our Morgan game, only about 10 points, and it stretched out to 15 towards the end. But yeah, they're playing well. They're going to be looking forward to Andrean and Boone Grove. I mean, if they play like they're capable of playing, they can go into Christmas 6-1, and that'd be pretty good for them. They got a Munster tournament over Christmas, just a little 2-game shootout type thing that they're playing in. So that'll be some good competition for them. That's on the 27th, the day before our Highland tournament starts. So. All
right, Billy, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it, and we're off until January 4th. So. Have a good holiday, and then good luck the rest of this week and next week, all right?
Thank you very much. You guys have a great holiday season, and we'll see you in 2023.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Bill Shepard from the Kankakee Valley Cougar boys basketball team, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KGthecage.com right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Joe Goodeman has been serving the Jasper County and surrounding area since 2009. Being involved in the area, Joe Goodeman has kept his interest in making sure he provides the best insurance for his clients. Whether you need life, car, home, business, farm and crops, or even renter's insurance, Agent Joe Goodeman will keep searching for the best policy for your valued investments. Call Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Joe Goodeman at 219-866-4694 or stop in at 2570 North McKinley Avenue in Rensselaer.
After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student-athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
Back on the Coach's Cage, Bob Kurtz, Bill Kay, and Scotty Miller with you here from Arnie's. Really do appreciate Arnie's opening up their doors every Wednesday night for us and feeding the coaches, giving them drinks like that. Always good food here, and again, we will take the next 2 Wednesdays off, Matt Sipkma, so we will not be here until January 4th of next year. So we got, 2 games to talk about?
2 games to talk about, yeah.
We'll turn it over to you and take it away.
Obviously, Friday night, you guys covered our game with Rensselaer Central, and that was a game we're going into it. We knew what Rensselaer had, and they put a good showcase on that night, and we just struggled to compete the whole night. We tried different things. Like I said, our biggest goal is if we can keep Wheatrick and Chapman under 12 at halftime, I'd be tickled, and didn't think it was even obtainable. We kept them to 11. They still had 38. So we had triangled and 2 on them. We 2-1-2, 1-3-1, 3-2, anything but man. And they moved the ball so well to where it didn't matter what zone we were playing and what we threw at them. They were able to get wide open shots. So
And then from an offensive standpoint, we struggle with our physicality on defense, and we ourselves at times couldn't get into our sets. And, we talk about it all the time. As a team, it's like, Coach Smith and myself will be like, do you think the boys are just, for whatever reason, they're forgetting what they're doing on the sets or whatnot? We're not in the spots that we need to be at. And I said, no, I think most of it is we're just physically outmanned. I mean, it's called pushed off your spots. We want to get to point A. We can't get there because they're making us go around, and so it was frustrating from that aspect. But the boys, I thought they competed hard. They didn't give up. We tried to make some adjustments at halftime, and I think the first couple minutes of the third quarter was actually well-balanced, played for about 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, so from that aspect, we saw some good things on film. But I told the boys after the game was over Friday night, I said I knew Lacrosse, Tri-Township, whatever you want to call them, I knew they were going to be looking for their first win too. And I told them before I left the locker room on Friday night was Rensselaer's done. We knew what they were going to do, and we knew it was going to be tough to stop, and it was. But I said, let's put this game behind us right now, not when we get back to Mona, not tomorrow morning, like right now. And they did. They put it behind them and came back to work on Saturday morning and had a great walkthrough for lacrosse.
You seem to be really determined in your post-game show with us after that Rensselaer game, and you really wanted your team to play well on Saturday, and they did, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of basketball is you get to play the next night most of the times, or if not the next night, within the next 2 or 3 days. And, it's just you look at it and what we're, 5 brand new starters and whatnot, and, we take it game by game, but we're also aware of every coach is aware of their schedule. They know what's on there, and, we play every game to win. But one thing I stressed to the boys even tonight at practice was, no matter who we're playing, whether it's Rensselaer, lacrosse, our JV, whoever it is, we have to go in and be consistent in what we do. You can't play down to your competition. You can't play up to your competition. You always just got to worry about yourself, if that makes sense. So the consistency is one thing we're looking for as we still move on forward.
Take us through the game then Saturday night.
Well, I don't get too mad. I really don't. I mean, over my 5 years, I've tried every different type of strategy, but I don't get too fired up. I'm competitive. I want to win. I stress the boys what we want to do. They know I want to win. Well, we go out, and there wasn't even a scouting report. The scouting report was number 10, don't touch the ball. That's it, because they're averaging 30 points a game. He's averaging 18 of the 30. So we go out the first play, and somehow number 10 is north than 30 feet of him. And I'm like, I just give up. I'm like, that's the whole report. But anyways, he hits back-to-back threes, and we're down 8-0.
Let me call you. Let me guess. You call a timeout.
Not yet, because Yo's like, we need one. And I'm like, no, we're gonna play through a little bit. And all of a sudden, it's like 10-0, 10-2, something. And I'm just like, I use a 30, and that gym's pretty small in there, lacrosse. So I use a 30, and I mean, basically just told him something wasn't too nice, but under my breath, and said, hey, you can just get your bags and get on the bus right now. That's basically in a nutshell what I said. Just get on the bus, and you don't want to play ball any harder than this. And they went out and they responded, went on a 12-0 run and took the lead, and really only gave it up one more time the rest of the game. But, we'll come back to it, but even going on to Tri-County this week, we're like, guys, we have to have intensity to start the game. Your coach doesn't need to yell and scream and get you fired up. I mean, just go out and want to play basketball. So, but in the second half, we're up by 6 at halftime and feeling pretty good. But they go out and score the first 7 in a row, and we're down 34-33. And we were doing a diamond press. It was working well, but you can't get in it if you're not scoring, And we run a baseline play for Dane, and he gets a nice little 3 off of it, and we knock it down and go up by 2. And I think that gets us. They don't break half court again for the whole quarter. I think we outscore them 18-0 after that.
Wow.
And go up 50-36 or something, and then I think we hold them to 11 points in the second half. So we walk away with a 52-38 win. Saw a lot of things that I liked, other things that we went back and we watched the whole film on Monday, and we showed them some things that we have to get corrected going into Friday night's game in Tri-County.
And who played well for you that night?
Really, we had I think Eli Stearns played pretty well as far as the offense and defense consistency goes. But Dane Hood, I think Brendan Hood had 3 threes to start it for us. I think he finished with 15. But I know Dane had a triple-double at 14 points. He had 12 rebounds and 10 or 11 assists. So, it's not a secret that he is our go-to player. And he struggled the other night against Rensselaer. I thought he forced them. If you saw, he took a lot of long threes, and I thought he was getting frustrated with the situation. But that Rensselaer, out of our 5 games, that Rensselaer game was the only game that he'd really been shut down. So, a lot of guys played good. A lot of guys starting to understand their roles a little bit. We preach what their roles are, and everything's a buy-in. They know what their roles are. Now they buy in and do them. And one thing I've told the boys is we're also, we're dressing 8 guys on varsity, right? And we're only playing 6 or 7. It's like this is what we got. So you guys are going to buy into it or do it right, or it's going to be a long season. So. Some days I think they're buying into it, and other days I'm like, we're starting back at square one.
All right. Well, what's the preview of this week's games then?
Well, like I said, you just look. You look at records. I don't worry about. I think right now, especially when North Newton's playing, I think North Newton and Tri-County are the teams to beat in our conference. And I know they may disagree with me on that, but it's their only conference game before January, so there's a lot of pros and cons of that, but biggest pro is the fact that you get in a team that's, new coach, new system, and you're still getting them when it's early, because they're still trying to figure some pieces out. And I hope they're still trying to figure out this in 48 hours. But, and we get to play them in our place. So we know they're going to be excited to play. They're going for their first win, too, their first win for the night. So we know they're going to be excited to play us. They're going to be jacked up, and we just have to match their intensity. And I told the boys tonight there's no reason why we can't match an intensity when we're playing the home game, and it's our first conference game. And big difference between 1-0 and 0-1 in the conference. You go 0-1, if you have goals to win a conference, you can't lose again at that point. And then Saturday night, we stay at home again, and we play Twin Lakes, who played Tri-County last week pretty close. I watched the film on that one, too. So
Rensselaer got them pretty good.
Rensselaer got them pretty good. Yeah, they're down a little bit this year. It's not normally like Twin Lakes, but hey, it happens to everybody. So we've got 2 games where you can go either way, both games. We'd love to get both of them. I want to just take Friday night, but it's just big all the way around. If we can get Tri-County Friday night and go 1-0 in the conference, then we play 4 more games before we'll see South Newton again. So get some momentum. It'd be really huge.
What's ahead next week for the Vikes?
We like I said, we came out of the Edinburgh tournament. I just thought that was too much as far as what our boys would face. So we joined a tournament up there, and it's South Central. So it's just a 1-day tournament. It'll be West Central, South Central, us, and Oregon Davis. We play at 10 in the morning. We'll play the host South Central with a consolation/championship game that night. That's the 29th. So works out good after this weekend's done. We'll go back to practice Monday through Wednesday next week, and then I'll give the boys some nice days off and then come back for another 4 or 5 days. So the way the schedule works, we're going to get those 2 games in over the break, but also give the boys some quality time off with their family as well.
Now, I saw your JV team. They're struggling. What are you trying to accomplish at the JV level?
With our numbers so thin, Ron Botnakovich, my coach, one of the things to say is, Coach, we're just trying to get you 2 or 3 kids that can play. And I got to tell you this it's just how our season is going. We're playing lacrosse JV game, and neither team had won a game, and we're up by 2 with 3.6 seconds left. They get an inbounds play, almost a full length of the court. The kid takes 4 dribbles, puts up a half-court shot, and it banks in. And one official calls it no good, and one calls it good. And I'm just like, they wave it off, but I'm like, that's just how it's going right now, where we don't even know if we win till a minute after the game, But it was nice, we've had one of our better JV players been injured. He didn't play against Rensselaer, and it really, when you're only playing 7 kids, 1 kid is a huge difference.
Right,
sure. And, he's about 6'3", 6'4" boy. He usually kind of gobbles up all the rebounds for us. So he's been out. He's supposed to be back this week, and like a lot of teams, we can't afford sickness. We can't afford injuries. Otherwise, we will be in a world of hurt. But it was cool to see him get that win as well.
Do you think your team, your varsity team's heading in the right direction now?
I'm probably too honest sometimes, but I like to think we are. I say that because we've talked about the intensity of practice the last 2 weeks. We've talked about how we're supposed to move in between drills. We thought they would know that, but we've had to kind of coach that to them a little bit. But the energy seems there, the positivity seems there. It's just, I'd like to see them compete more in individual drills at practice, compete more against each other on the court. I think when we do that, we'll be where we want them to be at.
What a crossroads already this early in the year. I mean, if you finish up 3-4 compared to what could be 1-6, that's a whole different world, isn't it?
It's a whole different world. Like I said, even if we, the North Miami game, we were up 15 earlier in the season. I mean, you put that one with one of these, you could be 500. And people don't, one thing I tell my players is, like, people act like 500 is a bad thing. I mean, you go up and down any program and you look at them, I mean, 14 and 12, you're like, well, that's a pretty good year, I mean, it's not easy winning basketball games. It's just not.
Matt, appreciate you coming over, and we'll be off the next couple of weeks, so we'll be back on January 4th, and have a good next couple of weeks, and we'll see you in January, all right?
Sounds good. Everyone enjoy their holidays.
All right.
You too, Matt.
Matt Sipkema from the North White Vikings. Back with more of the Coach's Cage right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117, or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics. Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our #1 priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Bob Kurtz, Bill K., and Scotty Miller back here at the Coach's Cage program on 3kgthecage.com. Of course, if you miss our live broadcast, just go to our website, 3kgthecage.com. Click on the archives link there, and you can find all of our archives on YouTube. So you can watch them on your big television, Billy. You don't even know how to do that, but anyway, you can do that. So
I need a smart TV. I'm not smart.
Yeah, exactly. Ricky Montemayor has joined us from the South Newton Rebel boys basketball team, and Ricky, thanks for coming over. I know it's been a very, very rough week. I'm going to turn over to you to explain what happened in your eyes. So what's going on with there?
Yeah, it's been a long week for everybody at South Newton this week. Sunday we tragically lost a student, a kid that was friends with virtually everybody in the school. Like, he didn't have an enemy of any sort.
Real popular too, right?
Yeah, he had a lot of friends, especially within our basketball program. A lot of kids, pretty good buddies with him. So it's been hard. That's one thing about the job and about teaching that they don't teach you or prepare you for. Like, there's nothing that you can say or do that can help them and help them move forward with where they're at in life and whatnot. But we've just tried to keep it positive the last couple of days. We had him in yesterday. We gave him Monday off. We only had like 70 kids in the school left after news kind of broke. So kids went home or didn't go to school at all. And then yesterday we went back to practice, try to normalize some things, get them back into like a routine of things. And we only had about half the kids there, and then we had practice this morning, and same thing. We were still missing a good handful of guys. We've reached out to the kids and let them know we're here for them, and anything we can do to help them through, like, we're gonna do that for them. But yeah, it's been rough. Riley's a great kid. Almost had him out for basketball this year. He was gonna play until about the week before, and decided last minute that didn't want to. I think he mentioned he wanted to swim, but I'm not even sure that he did that.
He was a football player.
He played football this year. It was his first year playing, actually, and he did pretty good. I watched him down at Tri-County. We had a middle school. I coached middle school football. We played their middle school team, and then our JV traveled with and played the same night, so it was kind of like a doubleheader. And he was the running back for that JV group and ran the ball hard, and he looked like he's been playing for years. And it's just awful to think about. It's a kid I talk to hallways every day. I saw him, like, how's it going, Riley? And biggest smile. That's one thing that I'll remember about him. I didn't have a ton of interactions with him outside of that, but I did know him, did talk to him. I remember him in middle school. But his smile is the one thing that, it sticks in my mind even today. As soon as I found out, like, just broke my heart. I mean, never want to experience something like that as a friend of somebody, of that happening, or even a teacher or coach. Like, it's something you don't prepare for or think about until it happens. And then, it completely flips everybody's world upside down.
Sure,
we're just in a super recovery phase, and we're trying to, like I said, keep things positive and keep the kids at the school, because we feel like it's the best thing for them to be around somebody right now. And even if they don't want to be there, like, we've been pretty flexible about letting them go to the office. We've had dogs and counselors in the building. We had a guest speaker there today about some mental health stuff. So, like, we're being proactive about it and trying to make sure we're reaching out to everybody, especially those that were super close with Riley.
And you're trying to do something with the family too, or for the family, right?
Yeah, we've done a couple different things. We did a donation thing this morning with the students. The student body and teachers and everybody wore white today. It was Riley's favorite color. And then they were able to wear a hat to school today with a donation of whatever amount they wanted. And then it sounded like we raised pretty good money for that. And then we're selling, I'm not sure what it's called.
Car decals,
yeah.
right?
So, like, car decals, I think they're like $8 a piece. Posts on Facebook and whatnot. I can share it with you guys if you wanted to as well. But
yeah,
that's just another way that we're trying to give back to them. And
all that money, all the proceeds will go toward their family.
Yeah,
right?
And then it sounds like somebody's making T-shirts or something as well. So, like, there's different ways that people are trying to contribute to that. But nothing's gonna heal the way they feel. I think it's just one of those that we feel that we want to respect and pay our tributes to Riley this way. So the kids have been all about it. Parents in the community have stepped up. Like, it's been, you could tell how close-knit our community is just off of how this has happened this week. And it's really brought everybody together, even though I feel like everybody was pretty close in the community already. But
right.
When something like this happens, you can just see everybody wants to step up and contribute and help out in any way they can. So. And
that will affect the basketball schedules for both girls and boys, right?
Yeah, our girls haven't practiced all week. They are definitely not playing this weekend. I just talked to our athletic director a little bit ago and just decided it was best that we'd reschedule our games for this weekend. And the service is next Tuesday, so we had a game scheduled for that night. We're going to reschedule that one as well. Not sure on those dates yet, but as soon as I know, I can definitely reach out and send that to you guys. You guys are supposed to be at our game Friday, you said.
Yes.
So, yeah, we'll reschedule that at some date. That was supposed to be a girls-boys doubleheader, too. So usually when we have that, it's a pretty good attendance for being local. Like, it's just an easy game for everybody to see both of its girls and boys at the same time.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll work to try to reschedule that for sure. And then conference game Saturday that we're going to push back just so we're in a better mind space.
Sure.
Hopefully.
Sure.
Ricky, it seems like, it's not a solace or anything, but thank God that our communities are this close. Newton, Jasper County. There's so many good people that it just seems like there will be people that can help, and you can lean on their shoulder a little bit when needed.
Mhm.
That they just come through areas even that you don't expect it, as opposed to you're in the big cities and stuff, and it's just you don't know people, and then you're almost kind of more like on an island than compared to this in these tough times.
Yeah.
At least friends, people like you at the school, there's support systems there
Mhm.
that can help.
Yeah. As I say, like I said, we've tried to keep it open with the guys, but you also don't want to push too much at the same time, because everybody's going to grieve and deal with it in a different way, and that's fine. Everybody's got to find an avenue to cope with it, but at the same time, everybody's got to cope with it. We can't let ourselves bottle it up and then let it explode later on. So, we've tried our best, at least as of recent, to try to, get the kids to feel it's okay to open up. Like, tell us how you're feeling. Like, it's just hard right now. Like, it's going to take time. That's all that's going to resolve this for us. It's never going to be resolved, but it's going to help the healing process as time, and that's something we don't have a lot of when you're playing 2-3 games a week in basketball. You pretty much have to get back to going back to your normal routine right away. So I think it's a service to our kids to not play in the next couple of weeks, and we'll practice, keep them around, to keep the routine going, to keep them moving. But as far as playing in a game, we're just not there yet.
Right, and you just don't want something like this to happen ever again, really.
No.
So that's unfortunately that's I don't even know what to say. It's terrible.
It's so hard. It is.
It's just
just
terrible.
Any instance like that. Bob, we were shocked last year a little bit on our own. We lost our dear partner, and out of nowhere, and that was a older.
It still affects us every day.
Yeah,
Without Jeff here, so
it just those kind of unexpected things are just deaths or.
Kind of puts basketball in a perspective.
It's not as important of a thing for sure.
If you win or lose, when this happens, it really doesn't matter that much anyway.
Yeah.
Well, let's. Anything else you want to say about the situation there, and before we go on?
Nothing besides we're all here for Riley's family. It's just South Newton Hole. I know the kids, the administrators, the teachers, everybody's behind his family at this time, and if they ever need anything, we're one call away, one stop away. Just
so will you still be selling those decals?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask the.
Well, give me the information when you ever get it. And
I don't know how long they're going to sell them for. I'm sure just as long as anybody wants them, they can just get them made up. I think they started out with 50 ordered, but they're probably going to have to order more than that. I think we've already got over that for who wants one. So I don't know how long they're going to sell them for.
Okay. Well, when you find that out, just let me know, and we'll do anything we can as far as 3KG is concerned with that situation. We've been running what they look like there before our show started tonight. So, all right, let's talk a little basketball. You had a couple games last week?
Yeah, we played Friday, Saturday last week. Going into the weekend, I thought there were 2 winnable games going in, just because we played. Our first game was pretty competitive, and then our 2 the weekend after that were tough games against Seeger and Delphi. We matched up against West Central on Friday and then Watsika on Saturday. 2 teams that I thought, on paper we matched up pretty well with. And this last week was the first time that I feel like we've had pretty much everybody at practice without many instances. We had one kid miss a couple days, so we still weren't 100% healthy going into the weekend. And we go over to West Central. It's our first conference game. We started off, we were up 1 after the first quarter, and then we were down 1 at halftime. So, we were in the game, we were being competitive, doing the things that we were, stressing all week to them. And then third quarter hit, they outscored us by 13 in that quarter, and then fourth quarter we turn around and outscore them by 4. So you take away the big gap in the third quarter. And
what was the difference there in the third
20-7.
What was the turning point in that third quarter?
Just they were hitting every shot they were taking, and it seemed like we were in stretches where we just could not score the ball. And we've had that struggle all year, and I think a lot of that comes down to we just haven't had any practices that we've all been there together, and we've gained some camaraderie and some ability to feel each other on the floor, I guess. So that hasn't come yet.
Was the offense getting good shots? Or
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, they weren't stopping us from doing what we wanted to do. We just weren't knocking down shots when we needed to. I'm trying to think of free throws. We shot the ball quite a bit at the line that night. We just didn't. We made more than they attempted.
Wow.
So
that's good.
That aspect was good. There were Aiden White for them. We could not control what he wanted to do on the floor. He was penetrating to the middle of the floor to the basket whenever he wanted. So that was one thing that at least stuck out to me. If we would have contained him a little better, I think we would have had a better chance. But
he's a pretty good athlete.
He is. He's a super good athlete, super fast. We don't have a kid on our team that's as quick as he is. So like trying to match somebody up against him is just not totally realistic, and that just comes to when you play a guy like that, you have to guard the ball more than you do like your man. So like your help side's got to be there, rotations have to be better, and we just didn't have those at times. And he just kind of went off in the third quarter. I think he went off for like 12 or 13 in that quarter alone. So like I think he finished with 16, and most of that was in the third quarter. So he pretty much carried him in that quarter. And then Saturday we went over to Watsika. I think I told you guys last time when I was on, it's just different in Watsika. Illinois in general is just different. So the way they officiate games is just weird. I don't know what it is. Not to be one of those guys that are complaining about the refs, but we start that game out. They've had some injury / health / eligibility issues, it sounds like, over there. So we watched them Tuesday before we played them, and they only played 6 kids and sat in a zone, and even when they were down, they were sitting in a zone. So, that's what we prepared for. And we get over there, and all of a sudden they have 3 kids back that hadn't played all year.
Of course.
But we started off really well. We outscored them 16-10 in the first quarter. That's our highest scoring quarter of the season, looking back at it. And then they outscored us 10-3 in the second. So we were down 1 1/2, kind of where we wanted to be. We were like
2 games in a row,
I was gonna say we were in the game, like just keep doing what we're doing. Like we were taking away their best shooters. We were doing kind of whatever we wanted offensively besides the second quarter. And then second half we just could not score. We got outscored 22-10 in the second half and lost by 13. So it's just one of those, like, we've got to find that consistency as a group. We've got to be able to put 4 quarters together, not just 3 quarters or 2.5 or 3.5. Like, it's got to be a whole game. And until we do that, we're not going to win many basketball games. I mean, I told the guys Friday night, I'm like, as soon as you guys quit giving up 20-point quarters, we'll be in pretty good shape, because the other quarters, it's like 8 to 10 points usually. Like, we're right where we want to be. But when we give up a 20-point quarter and only score 7 or so, like, it's very tough to catch back up, especially when we don't have that consistency offensively yet.
Who played well for you that night?
So on Friday night, I don't know if I even touched on that yet. Evan Krug led us with 13 points, and the first 3 games, he only had a combined 1 point or 3 points, something weird. Like, he is probably our best scorer when he is healthy and 100% everything else, but he's sick. He was healthy last weekend, and he's sick again this week. So it tells you about Evan. He is just a up-and-down kid during the wintertime. I don't know what it is, but he is never 100% around December time. But he led us with 13. Chase had 9, and then Luke Hoskins had 9. So our juniors led the way Friday night. They all scored the ball pretty well. We got a lot of good looks, just didn't capitalize on some of the things that we needed to down the stretch. And then Watsika, Connor Latta had 9, and then Evan Krug had 8 in that game. So 2 guys almost double figures, and then the night before we almost had 3 in double figures. So it's starting to get there, but then, like I said, we got more kids out this week sick. Chase is the one that's sick this week. He's been out the last couple of days. And then you've got everything that's happened at South Newton this past week. That's, again, kids aren't there mentally, physically. They're just drained right now. And you can't push too hard as a coach. You can't force them to be there when things are going on. So we've been pretty receptive. We've been pretty open about the kids not being there and understanding. do what you got to do to handle this or cope with it. But we're here. And all of our coaches have been that way with the kids. We just let them know, you guys need literally anything, just call, text, whatever. If you got to come to our classroom, come see us. So hopefully we can try to get some of that camaraderie back these next couple weeks before we start playing again. I know it's the holidays. It's not going to be a super happy time for everybody,
right?
With things that are going on. So
when's the next scheduled game for you that you know about, or do you know?
Without the ones that are going to be rescheduled now, it's January. Let me pull up the calendar.
3rd?
3rd.
Maybe?
January 3rd against River Forest.
That's your next game.
So the first week back from break, we play the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th.
So it's almost like starting the season over again.
Yeah. And they're tougher ones. Like we play Beecher on the 3rd. Is it Beecher?
Beecher, yeah.
So Beecher on the 3rd. They're an Illinois school. It's at Illinois.
Well, you need to get them over here in Indiana.
I know. But they're going to be tough. I looked at their record the other day, and they only had like one loss on the season. They play some pretty decent teams over there. They'll be athletic. They'll run the floor. They'll shoot the ball well. They'll play hard. And they're a bigger school. I think they're like a little bigger than North Newton, if that puts it in perspective. Mm-hmm. So they're similar to Rensselaer size probably. And then Friday night we're at River Forest, which playing up in the region's another story too. I mean, it's officiated a little differently. They let the kids play a little more. It's usually more fast-paced. The kids get up and down a little more, whereas down here it feels like more almost like Big Ten basketball. It's like it's defensive, it's physical, it's not so much run and gun. Like we want to get in your face and defend down here, and it's just different up there. So we got them Friday, and then the 7th we are hosting North White, so another conference game.
Okay. All right. Well, Ricky, I appreciate you coming in and give us all the information about what's going on. A very tragic event at South Newton, and you guys seem like you're handling it really well and best you can. And we appreciate coming over and talk about that. And we'll be back on January the 4th. So try and enjoy your holidays. And
you as well.
And we'll see you then, okay?
All right, thank you guys.
Ricky Monemeyer from the South Newton Rebels, back with more of the Coach's Cage on 3KG right after this.
High-quality personalized dental service is what they do at Hillcrest Dental. For over 40 years, generations have relied on Hillcrest Dental for beautiful, healthy smiles. Dr. John Ayler and Dr. Jack Drone look forward to seeing you for your next dental visit. For information or to set your appointment, call 219-866-7117. That's 219-866-7117 or visit hillcrestdental.net. Hillcrest Dental is a proud sponsor of all high school athletics.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Pulver Psychological Services offers psychological counseling, consultation, and assessment. Locally owned and operated, Pulver Psych focuses on solutions for the community and serves as support for individuals, families, and organizations. Whether you're in need of personal, family, or success counseling, Pulver Psychological Services can help you reach your life goals. Increase work satisfaction, have better relationship compatibility, improve sports performance. Get in touch with Pulver Psychological Services by visiting pulverpsych.com.
Back on the Coach's Cage show on 3kgthecage.com. Of course, you can catch our Coach's show on our archive page. after the fact. So we encourage people to go to our website, 3kgthecage.com, and just go click on archives, and you'll see any game or any coach's show you want.
Yeah, a lot of good games over there to catch up if you.
Yeah, just watch, binge watch, right there.
Exactly.
All right, Ryan Harrington from the Tri-County Cavalier boys team has joined us. Ryan, good to see you. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. Good to see you guys as well.
All right, 2 games to talk about?
Yeah.
Take it away.
So last Friday we hosted Twin Lakes, so a little bit of a county rivalry there. And we played them pretty well, honestly. A close ball game. We ended up losing 42-50. But our kids played really tough. We
Take
handled
us through the game.
Yeah, we handled their press really well early on. They like to kind of throw a 2-1-2 at you, just kind of slowing you down more than anything. And I told our kids, as long as we're patient, reverse the ball, we're going to be fine. We did that. First quarter kind of back and forth ends up being 13-14. We're right in it, just down a point going into the second. And then we just kind of dug a little bit of a hole. Really what happened from the beginning for them was Owsley, number 24, came out to start the game and was 3 for 3 from 3. So really hot start for him. And kind of as a result of that, we had to change how we were guarding him. And obviously we didn't want to give away open looks. Well, they definitely did a good job of taking advantage of that, and he was getting a lot of backdoor opportunities then. So they kind of ran the same backdoor play on us several times, and we're able to kind of build a lead going into halftime there. Still only down 6 at the half, so again kept it close. Came out and won the third quarter. Had it as a ball game there going into the fourth, and it was tight. But what they did really well was their guards handled our pressure, and were able to just have really long possessions. They were able to hold the ball and make 20-plus passes, hold it for a minute and a half, and then get a layup. And possessions like that in a tight game late can kind of be back-breaking. You're working really hard for a minute and a half, playing great defense, and then you give up an easy look in the end. It's just kind of like, what do we do that for? So that was tough. And I kind of mentioned to you guys right before we started, the other thing that kind of bit us, we had some great looks all game long. We had open looks that we just didn't necessarily execute specifically from 3. We finished the game 2 of 14 from 3-point range, whereas Twin Lakes was 7 of 12. So you lose a game by 8 points. There's usually maybe 1 or 2 things you can point to. That's definitely a thing that I felt like we could point to.
Is there a point in the time where you say, hey, we're not making 3-pointers, let's do something else?
We'll get to Seeger. We made our fair share against Seeger.
Oh, okay.
So
you didn't mind 14 threes?
No, I really didn't. I mean, were some of them forced? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say all 14 of them were great shots, but I don't think that we're a team that can't take that many shots. If they are the correct shot, that's been the biggest thing we've been working on this season, is making sure it's the right shot. There's a time to take a 3. You don't really want to take it if you're contested and you're doing a step back or something. Maybe if you've hit 1 or 2, we'll give you the green light, but most of the time you really don't want to go into a game and trying to do those things unless you're a really elite player. And we've got some really good players. I don't know that I have any guys on my team yet, at least, that are good enough to do that.
That's coming.
Yeah. Hopefully we get there. And if they get there, then that's awesome. I'll let them. But right now we're not quite there. So just working on the right shot. But
who played well for you?
That game, Kobe Baylor really shined for us offensively. He had a great game. Nate Corbin and Connor Ross on the inside were big for us. Connor Ross was defensively everywhere. Coach Adams over at Twin Lakes even told me after the game how our kids were getting every 50-50 ball. We out-rebounded Twin Lakes 27-24. And like I said, our big guys, Connor Ross, Nate Corbin, were a big part of that. And then I think Connor had 6 deflections, 5 steals in that game. So, again, kind of, all over the place. Any loose ball, he's getting it. And, that's just kind of the stuff that helps you win in the long run. Again, we're getting in these close games. We're going to get over the hump here pretty soon.
Ryan said something interesting, how you kind of got burned early on with a 3-point shooter and then going back to take us into the locker room a little bit at halftime. Are you up there on the blackboard diagramming what they're doing to beat you guys and showing them how's that work? What goes on in the
Yeah,
typical?
sometimes, Owsley wasn't necessarily they weren't really getting anything crazy to set him up. We just weren't doing a great job of, having a high hand on the perimeter when he had the ball, especially those early shots, He didn't make another three the rest of the game, which, I mean, you're happy for that. But again, where we have to do a better job of is understanding that he can catch it on the perimeter, even if he's a great three-point shooter. And that's really what we were emphasizing at halftime. And unfortunately, we weren't able to execute it, but we were just saying to the guys, hey, he can catch it out there. Him catching it's not the problem. But once he has it, there has to be a hand up, and you have to be contesting and ready. You have to be there on the catch. Whereas early on, some of our guys, he catches on the perimeter, well, they got their hands down on their hips. Well, that's, a good shooter, that's you might as well be wide open.
Right there,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So by the time you react to put your hand up as he's in a shooting motion, he's already making the shot. So that's really where we have to continue to improve. The guys just felt like, I guess, well, we can't let him catch it. We can't let him catch it. Well, he's a great player. Going back and watching the film, as soon as our guy took a step towards him on the perimeter, he cut straight back door every single time.
Which is what you should do. Right?
Exactly, yeah. He was just waiting for it. So, that's something that we've definitely worked on, obviously, this week, and making sure that we're communicating those things and just,
a learning process.
It always is. That's the thing. Every week, there's always good things in the games, but there's always things that you see, and it's like, hey, we need to focus on this and make sure this doesn't hurt us moving forward. Saturday, we, again, another home game, so kind of nice little weekend at home. Hosted Seeger. Again, another really good team. A one-loss team coming in, and they kind of came out early on us and were taking it to us. They were running a press as well. Their press just really sagged off of us, and where we struggled early on, and I told the kids before the game, you have to make somebody guard you. You can't let a team like Seeger that's really long play in space, because then they become even longer. And we did not do a good job of that early on. A lot of easy turnovers and layups for them. They jump out. Ends up after the first quarter being 22-11. We lose the game by 12 points. So can talk about how the rest of the game went, because I thought we played awesome. But after the fact, what we talked about, as proud as I was for that second half that we'll talk about in a second, the first quarter is where we lost the game, because we weren't in the game then for a while. And a big part of that was just on us and not making good passes. So that was a big thing we emphasized. But again, long game, we kept playing with them. We were able to hit it, just in that first quarter against Seeger, we hit 3 threes. So again, we only hit 2 the night before. The next night, we hit 3 in the first quarter. We finished the game with 7. So it's just kind of how it works, I guess, sometimes. We end up going into the halftime. Like I said, they kind of blitzed us early. It was 42-27, and I have my assistants keep a shot chart, and I looked at it, and it was just all in the paint. So we changed the game plan, came out in the second half in a zone on them to make sure that, okay, well, we're going to be at risk for a lot of three-point shots now, but they're not getting in the paint easy. And that ended up paying off for us. They only hit 1 3 the entire second half, and we really limited their looks. Now, we were also lucky their best player, Snedeker, who's a really good athlete, at one point got a steal on us and just was able to dunk it like effortlessly. He gets in foul trouble as well, and we were able to capitalize. And Eric Zarzi had a huge game for us. I thought for him, probably the best game I've seen him play as a high school player. He was confident. Defensively, he was getting steals. Offensively, especially after that first quarter, breaking their press, he was really confident bringing the ball up the floor and distributing it as well. But then also Nate Corbin had a huge game. He scored 18 points for us. And really at the free throw line, too, he was confident for us and getting those looks to fall down. So, definitely some bright spots. But again, just kind of that first quarter, making some silly turnovers. It's just a little frustrating, but sometimes that can be the difference in a game.
Were they bigger than you guys physically, or I know you don't
taller, a little taller, yeah. But I mean, we matched up with them pretty well. It wasn't a huge difference. And again, where they had kind of an advantage is, Nate is a really athletic big guy, but their big guys were just a little quicker. again, that was where he wasn't the only one. We just had a lot of guys, and we've talked about this as a team. We sometimes struggle containing the dribble drive, and other teams know that, so they attack you from that standpoint. And again, it's something we just have to continue to improve upon as the season continues.
Always attacks the weaknesses of teams, right? I guess you probably try and do the same thing.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Other teams.
Yeah,
so.
that's the way that you win. So.
All right, what's ahead for this week?
Well, this week we have one game, so it's our conference opener at North White.
Oh,
so,
that's right. We heard Matt talk about that.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting there Friday night over there.
He's looking forward to it. I'm sure you are too, right?
we are. So, it's a little interesting playing a conference opponent here early in the year, but at the same time, it is kind of nice getting the season started and just, always a good opportunity to go over and play, again, a county and conference rival that – we see quite a bit. The kids know each other, again, it's always competitive. I've been the JV coach here, even the JV games, those just a little bit different going over there and going against a team same size as you, really close by. Those games just end up being a little more physical and, always exciting.
We love to broadcast games
gym,
from over there, but is it fun to play in a gym like that or not?
Their gym, yeah. I mean, anytime, any of these unique smaller gyms I always enjoy going to as a coach. I'm sure as a player I played in that gym too as well, and there's always challenges when you're in kind of a different environment, but at the same time, we can go back to the movie Hoosiers and measure the lines. It still is a gym, so the rims are still 10 foot tall, free throw line still 15 feet out.
Just can't go full bore one end right into the stage.
But again, it's better than over at Tri Township, where the stage is literally the sideline. So just again, I always think it's exciting to have those unique opportunities.
Stand on the bleachers to throw it in. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but again, being able to have those experiences is just part of Indiana high school basketball, I think, playing those unique atmospheres.
And I know next week you play in that Delphi tournament.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the Kitchen Classic. So we actually play North Newton then on Monday. So
Imagine that, huh?
It is a conference opponent, but it doesn't count as a conference game. So we do also see them on Monday, and that'll be interesting too.
They're playing pretty
well
right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they got Gagnon, who's probably the best player in the conference, if not definitely in the conversation.
He had monster 2 games this past weekend.
Yeah. So he's going to be a handful for us, obviously, and I know Sam. He's a really good coach. We taught together for a few years over at Tri-County, so I know he's going to have the kids ready to play.
What about the junior varsity Cavs? How are they doing?
We're still, work in progress, much like the varsity. They've been going through some sickness, as well. So I think this, for both teams, has been the best week for us health-wise, just with different sicknesses going through the school and all, even just injuries here and there. So they're still winless as well, but we've got a couple of kids again that keep improving. A couple of freshmen, Clayton Atkinson, who's a big 6'3" kid. He's got a lot of potential on the inside, and then we've got some guards who have some potential too. We've actually got a set of triplets on there.
Oh,
who are all freshmen,
the
the Fosters. We got Drew, Trey, and Nick Foster.
You'd like to have 3 on the same family,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And then we also have another pretty solid freshman guard in Tyler Burns. So that would be like Chad Burns' nephew. So
you got those Tri-County names.
Some Tri-County names there, and again, there's a bunch of other kids on that team too that I could name.
If he could shoot it like Chad, that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. So again, a bunch of hardworking kids, and they're close to getting their first win as well if they just keep working hard and continue to learn and grow. Because again, they're really young. They play a lot of freshmen. We got a couple sophomores down there, but a lot of freshmen are getting experience at that JV level. So.
All right, Ryan. Well, good luck this week, and next week we're off for the next 2 weeks here on the Coach's Show. So we'll be back at you on January the 4th, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan Harrington from the Tri-County Cavaliers, back with our usual cleanup man, Chad Pulver from Rensselaer Central after this.
Hi, this is Chuck Clark with the Underwood Insurance Agency, formerly Preferred Insurance Group. Are you tired of being sacked every month with your auto insurance bill? Do you feel you just pay your premium to your agent and never hear from them? We at the Underwood Insurance Agency work with over 10 insurance carriers to get you our best rate and coverage we can, and we pride ourselves on serving our customers like they are our family. We are conveniently located in Remington and Lafayette. We can be reached at underwoodagency.com. Reach out to us to score big savings.
Working with our customers has been Kentland Bank's trademark for 87 years. We're dedicated to making your visit a lasting one, and helping you achieve your goals is our number one priority. With 5 locations, Kentland Bank offers all loans needed for today's businesses and families, including car loans, mortgages, agriculture, and commercial loans. We're here to make your busy life less hectic by offering online and mobile banking, bill pay, and P2P payments. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. After a hard day's work or play, it's time for some relaxation, and there's no better place than Unwind on Front Street in Rensselaer. For massage therapy, facials, spray tanning, yoga classes, and wellness, stop by Unwind. They also offer student athletes 30-minute massages for $25. Alina would like to thank Unwind's loyal customers for their patronage since 2016. To make an appointment, call Unwind at 219-869-0290.
All right, back on the Coach's Cage show. One last time here in 2022. Take the next couple of weeks off of the show. And also we're going to take Friday night off. We're supposed to be over at South Newton, but they had a tragedy, Chad Pulver, and you guys are not going to play over there. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. I was just talking with Coach Monemeyer, and he said that they'll make the official decision, I think, in the next day. But it sounds like the game will be postponed, and we'll find another time to play.
You're going to play. You're going to play them, just
not this Friday,
not
probably.
Friday.
So and that's fine. I mean, that's what we have to do. I got a hold of Ricky earlier this week, as soon as I had heard the news, and just wanted to check in on him and make sure things were okay and whatever he needed from us. And if this is what we need to do to help our communities figure out what the next steps are going to be, then basketball games are easy. I mean, we just schedule them and play them.
Yeah.
So
puts in perspective a little bit, doesn't it? That's for sure.
It really does. So we're happy to. We want to play, and we're ready to play. And if that's a month from now, then so be it.
Okay,
we'll make it work.
Well, you had a very busy week. 3 games, right?
We did. We started out, I think it was a Friday night meeting with North White. We hosted them. It was our home opener. We had been on the road for 5 games, and so it was nice to be home for Friday and Saturday this week. And so we played against North White on Friday, and were able to hold court and to be able to finish that game off, which was nice for us. I think it was a 69-31 win for us, and we were able to move the ball well and take care of business. And then came back the next night and were able to host Twin Lakes. And again, I thought played a nice game. I think Twin Lakes might have been one of our cleanest games that we've had. We took care of the ball very well. We executed a lot of our ins and outs and plays and system to a point where I think the clicking of what you want to see and the mid-season form started to take shape for us.
You really pointed toward that game too, didn't you?
We did, and it wasn't just me. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's an important game for me as a coach, because that certainly sets a standard for, Twin Lakes has been a quality program for a long time. And even though people can say, well, their players are down, Coach Adams doesn't take things lightly. He has them as prepared as he can be. And, one of the things, even during that game when it was in control for us and we were executing, he didn't stop coaching. It's not like he sat on the sidelines and pouted. I mean, he's coaching the whole time. Right. So I have a lot of respect for him and his program, and so that's a good check mark on the board for us. So
who played well for you that night?
We had a lot of guys that played well on that Saturday night. We had 9 guys that scored. We had 3 guys in double digits. Colby Chapman and Tristan Reachwick and Corbin Matthew all put in over double digits on the scoreboard, and we moved the ball well. We had, backdoor cuts, give and goes. It was just an overall defensive showstopper a lot of ways. We ran our break really well, which was really lacking for a couple weeks, and so to be able to get rebounds or even after a basket and 1-2 passes up the court, and a couple times we were up the court in 2 passes, and the third pass was in the air to the person as he was breaking the free throw line before the defense was ready. And so those are the type of the plays that really stand out to me that shows that we were playing well and hustling and getting up and down the floor.
So with your son's injury, you put Corbin Matthew in as a starter now?
Correct. So we moved Corbin in and kept the other four, which is Tristan, Colby, Tommy, and Noel. So those four have stayed. Corbin moved into a starting role with Caden Rowland coming off the bench and Graham Drone coming off the bench, and then Nolan Potts has been ill, and so
he didn't play.
He did not play Friday or
night.
Saturday.
Okay,
and so he was able to come back on Tuesday and got a little time last night, and so he's back. So that gives us 8 guys to roll that we know already, and then Braden Mouchette is able to give us some minutes. We're also starting to get Brian Camarina into the games with the hope that we get him a little bit more familiar with the pace and our movements and what we need from him, because
he's a big kid.
He is a very big kid, and so to have him have some size and some strength and to be able to move and cover that paint is going to be important for us.
You guys obviously played well defensively too on Saturday, holding them to just 38 points.
We, anytime you can hold a high school team to around 40 points is a pretty good accomplishment. So we felt very good about that. We had an idea of what their sets were going to be and how they were going to run it, what they did in their motion offense or flex offense. And so our guys anticipated well. They put themselves in good positions. I think the biggest part about it was we rebounded. So when they shot, other than a few lapses, we were almost we were clean when it came to getting the rebounds.
Did it change anything from the first time you played them or not?
I think we were a little bit more aggressive the second time. I don't think we took them for granted. I don't think that our guys were lackadaisical at all. I think we really wanted to show that we could hold them and to play well on our home court on a Saturday night. And so I think we did that, and which was really nice for us.
Nice bounce back a weekend after the tournament in Lafayette. And you played a Tuesday night game.
We did.
Didn't go very well last night.
We did not go well. We had a lot of things that we could learn from, and that's one of the reasons why we have teams like Hanover Central on our schedule. They're a 3A school. They're larger than us. They have different kinds of facilities. Their gym is much different. The lighting's different. The spacing's different. We have to drive an hour on the road to get there. And that sounds pretty familiar when you think about going to Frankfurt at the end of the season.
Yes,
so
it does.
We've got to get ourselves able to be on a bus, get those fumes out of our system, and be able to play basketball. And defensively, I thought we had a really good night. We had very few lapses. We roll back the clock 24 hours, and we stop a couple three-pointers on their half, and we were not in a nip and tuck game at the end. I think we take control. But
what was the final score last night?
43-34.
So
43
points, you expect to win if you only give up that many.
Yeah, and so we couldn't drop the ball in the lake from the boat. So it was a rough night for us. We were 0 for 10 from the 3-point line, which is not very typical for us at all. And then we shot 29% from the floor. And so it was a rough night for us. And so when that starts to happen, the fans that traveled with us, I could feel it. I'll own it for myself, but I could feel the tension that they had just because our guys that typically we get a tip and a steal and we go down and make the layup, and we missed the layup. I mean, it's that kind of stuff where that's not very characteristic of us. And so to be able to have those moments after the game finishes and to process that, to talk to the boys, it's fine to be angry about a loss. I don't think anyone was happy that we lost that game. There's not like we were sitting around thinking, oh, it's no big deal. We were not happy about losing that game. However, to put it in perspective of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to grow and still trying to figure out personnel. And that's a very important piece of it. And so figuring out, okay, so if Hanover Central has found a wrinkle in our system that we haven't polished yet, we need to take care of it. And so that's what we started doing today. So we're doubling down. I mean, I know that I use that phrase a lot, but we're not backing away from anything. So we bet on ourselves, and so that's what we have to do from here on out.
We talked a little bit about before we went on the air, but is it different shooting in different gyms, and how do you make that better if you're away from home?
I think their gyms do have a different feel to them. Sometimes it's temperature, sometimes it's lighting, sometimes it's physical proximity of the background. Do they have fans behind the rims and the backboards? Are they close? I mean, for example, our gyms in our town here in Rensselaer, almost every backboard has a wall that's close to it, and so it's within 10 feet. And last night, those were not close backboards to walls, and the walls were white. And so that's a difference. You have to acclimate to what that is. And so we probably didn't do a good enough job getting ourselves acclimated. I think that we thought, well, we'll make some layups and it'll be fine. We should have done more than that. And so those types of things, learning how to travel, learning how to, if it's a cold gym, do you need to have warm hands? If it's a hot gym, how do you cool yourself down? What is it that you need to do as a player to get yourself ready to go? I don't feel like our guys were overwhelmed. I don't feel like we walked in there and didn't play hard. We executed a number of things very, very well. We were able to get layups and we're just not making them. We were getting wide open shots and not making them. Where in our previous games, even with the 2 losses we had previously, we were still making shots. And this was the first game where it was just a rough go, and to the point where the tension kept getting stronger and stronger. And so we shot free throws, and we shot almost 70% from the free throw line. So I thought, okay, that might get us going. Like get a couple guys shooting some free throws, they relax, it gets them better. And we just stalled, and it was tough. But, and then Hanover Central basically went into a stall offense about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. I don't think they wanted any part of what we were doing, and so they tried to stall the ball, and so we were going after them. We were not backing away, and so we had a couple chances to pull it back in, and they had a couple threes. Guys that normally we would say let them shoot that. Well, they shot it and they made it, and so those happen in the end of the game when they have some confidence, and so it worked against us last night.
Chad, how do you approach this week of what just happened with South Newton? You were scheduled to play a girls-boys doubleheader. Now that's off. What do you do as a team now? How do you approach Friday?
Well, when it is confirmed that it is canceled, I will let the boys know, usually through a message. So that way, even if they hear it in the middle of the day, they hear it from us that this is going to be adapted or changed or rescheduled. And then from there, what we do is we take what we have to for the remainder. So for us right now, if we don't have a game on Friday, then we go all the way to the 27th with no game.
Oh.
And so we have some time. And so with that being said, we're gonna get to work on what we need to do offensively and defensively to make sure that we have that next wrinkle ready to go. And so that's what we'll work on.
That's a big break.
It is a big break.
2 weeks, right?
But it used to be longer. Up until this year, we would go almost 3 weeks without a game.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have Boone Grove in there on the 27th.
So it's just a regular season game.
Yep, it's just a non-conference game.
Because you play your tournament in Lafayette. So.
Correct. So we played that tournament earlier, and we had someone drop out of our schedule the first week of school, which is really late for contract finding. And so we were lucky enough to get Boone Grove. They needed a game, and so we just put them in, and we're happy to play them. I know very little about Boone Grove, but I'm going to try to get some film on them and go with what we can get. And but what I'm really focused on is what we have to do for ourselves. And if we can figure that part out, I think the second half of the season, it still remains our focal point. We start back in January with Lafayette Central Catholic, Couts, West Side. I mean, we have North Judson in there. All 4 of those teams they're monster games for us.
Yeah.
They're very important. So we'll see where we land. But I think those are the fun games.
8 games in, where are you as a team right now?
Well, I think considering that we had some illness in there and we had a major injury for us, we are still trying to figure out how we're going to put some pieces together. I mean, the reality is that what we were able to do all summer long and all fall has changed. And so to have someone who is 6'6" and strong, and then pull him out, and then we're basically going small ball now. And so that's a shift. It doesn't mean that we couldn't have done small ball at spurts in the season, but when you go from having someone that you can put in and get size and space and then trade them out when you need them in and out, now Noel is our post right now. And Noel does a great job for what we ask him to do. But, when we're going against 6'6", 6'7" guys who we will see this season, it's more difficult. And so we have to change what we're doing offensively. Defensively, we have some wrinkles. We have things that we can change around, but we have to get comfortable with it. And so philosophically, I feel like our boys know what we're trying to do, and they're okay with it. They're working hard at it. We just have to get more comfortable with doing it, shifting those gears, switching the gears.
Now, has your son had his operation yet, or
no? At the end of this month. So
okay.
These next 2 weeks are all about getting his extension and his flexion, so that way when they do the operation, the procedure, they're able to keep that knee as open and closed as they can.
Yeah, we were shocked. He was up near us roaming around the other night.
Yeah,
God, is he hurt?
He wears a brace, and as long as he doesn't twist, he can walk straight forward and straight back.
Say, yeah.
And so it's the twisting, and so he's done a really good job as far as doing his what we call prehabilitation for the surgery, and so trying to make sure that he gets that strength around the knee as strong as it can be, getting the flexion to where you get that leg as tight as possible and as straight as possible, if not hyperextended, because it allows for more extension after the surgery. And then they'll harvest the ligament right from his own leg and then put it in there, and it will heal, and hopefully it holds and everything will be fine.
How's mom and dad holding up with this?
Mom and dad have their issues, I think. So that part of it's a little weird, but every day is a little bit different. I think that, as a family, we try to stay focused on what we're doing it for. I mean, I think it would be very easy just to be frustrated. And I think I give Cassius a lot of credit for staying connected to the guys. And he's at practice every day. He's running the clock. He's charting stuff during the games and processes and talks after the games. And so that's not necessarily easy when your role changes on a team. And I give him a lot of credit for that. But I think that, we're now starting to get, feedback from colleges, which I know a lot of seniors are starting to get those. And so it's exciting, whatever's coming next for him. And so we're looking forward to that.
What is it with Rensselaer boys basketball? Second year in a row, you've had a major injury right at the start of the year.
I don't know. I boasted for years that we didn't have that issue, and we did a lot of preventative maintenance, and and it wasn't that we weren't a physical team throughout, but we went 4 seasons without anything more than about an ankle sprain or maybe
catching
some bumps.
up with you.
Well, they got us twice in a row, and so
that's enough.
It is. I'd like to be finished after this, and so I know from a fact, from at least with Cass, he's done a lot of knee preventative maintenance. He's kept his knees together and strong, and he does a lot of work on that. And so to have this happen, it just reinforces the fact that sport is sport. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff to prepare, but things happen that you don't want to have happen, and so you have to be able to adjust and adapt.
Some point of the year, I'd like to have him up and chat with us a little bit. Is that possible?
Absolutely. I think he'd be happy to do that.
We'll get him up and do a little color commentary. How about that?
That'd be great.
So
I'm sure he'd love that.
How about JV Bombs? How they doing?
They're doing well. They won Hanover Central. They had a great game on Tuesday. They won. They won on Saturday with Twin Lakes, and I believe they won Friday with North White.
Yeah.
And so for them, they've got a 3-game win streak going for themselves. Had a pretty tough game last night, but extended it out at the end there, and I think won by 12. So they did a really nice job of just staying within themselves, keeping the intensity up, and finishing when they had the opportunities.
And what do you hope to see from your JV squad? What do you want them to learn?
Well, we have some guys that haven't played in a while, and so we have some sophomores out that didn't play last year. So I think it's important for them to get experience and continue to be competitive and learn the system. For some guys, it is extending their skill set, and so we have a few guys that when they get on the floor, even if it's for a couple minutes, can you play at the speed that we need you to play? Because that's the biggest jump. You go from middle school, 8th grade middle school, to a JV game. We don't have a freshman team, so jumping to that JV, that's a big jump sometimes for most kids.
Would you like to have a freshman team?
It'd be great to have a freshman team. It certainly it does change how we do things on staff, because you need someone that really solely take care of that. And last year we tried to do that, and we had a lot of misfires with it for a lot of reasons, and it was no one's fault all the way through, but it was. Looking back on it, we weren't prepared for how much that changed what we did on a day-to-day basis. And so if we were to do it again, it would take a lot more planning. We thought we could just have something, give them some games, get them some repetitions, and it didn't go as well as we wanted it to go. And so, but with the JV squad, and then what I'm really looking for them is, as they produce and get better, can we get them up to the speed of the varsity? And we want some guys to get that experience so that way they're ready to make a jump, whether that's from their freshman to sophomore year they make that jump, or sophomore to junior year they make that jump. But we really hope that guys improve their skill level so that way when they come back that junior and senior year that they're markedly skilled.
All right, Chad, when we get the notice of when the South Newton games be rescheduled, we'll have that on the air on 3KG. So whenever, I'm sure it's going to be in January or February sometime.
That'd be my guess.
Anyway. So we're off the next 2 weeks. We won't have a program on the 21st or the 28th. So enjoy your holiday. Enjoy the rest of this week and next week. And we'll see you January 4th.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Chad Pulver, been our guest from the Rensselaer Central Bomber boys team. Back to wrap things up on the Coach's Cage right after this.
In agriculture, preparation is important. Dedication is you deciding what to plant and then asking what it will take for a good crop. How much work will it take to produce the final crop? In sports, preparation is vital in becoming the best you can be. Dedication is a will of achievements for a winning desire. Corbett Farms encourages everyone to do their best by having a winning spirit, attitude, and achievement. Your positivity will make a difference. Corbett Farms is proud to sponsor high school sports.
Founded in 1931, Community State Bank in Brook is your community bank. We specialize in relationship banking while offering the technology required to meet your modern banking needs. Community State Bank is the area leader in new construction loans and home mortgages. Our lenders know small business and have products to meet your farm and business needs. We're available to get to know you and your needs today at 224 West Main in Brook or by calling 219-275-2441.
Meet you at Arnie's, Rensselaer's go-to pizza and so much more. Pizza, sandwiches, burgers are here. Don't forget about dessert. Wings, cheese sticks, garlic bread too. Arnie's pizza menu has something for everyone. Dine in or carry out in the best pizza in town. Located across from St. Joseph's College in Rensselaer. Call 219-866-9999 and meet you at Arnie's.
Reinforcements Designs is a full-service graphic design, screen printing, and sign shop. They offer logo designs, screen printing, banners, signs, vehicle lettering and graphics, airbrushing, vinyl letterings, digital printed graphics, freehand engraving, and more. 37 years of design and graphics, Reem Bontrager will help you come up with a customized project of your ideal or plan. Just ask, give Reinforcements Design a call at 219-866-8626 for your next graphic design project.
All right, ready to wrap things up from Arnie's. Appreciate all the gang here for making it us welcome and providing great food for the coaches. Thank all the sponsors. Scotty Miller, great job as always. Bill Kay, great job there as well. Again, no games Friday night. The Rensselaer at South Newton boys-girls doubleheader has been postponed or will be postponed. And I'll have a make-up date, so we'll tell you about that. Our next game be next Tuesday, Chesterton at Kankakee Valley girls. Be on there around 6:45. For my partner Scotty Miller and Bill Kay, Bob Kurtz from Arnie, so long, everybody.
The proceeding was a presentation of 3KG Community Broadcasting.